Yes.
Yes, it's being live streamed on YouTube.
Oh, is it? Thank you.
It's not an open streaming, only those who have the link. The member societies get the link and they have the opportunity to watch it. It's not just for everybody, okay?
Thank you.
We should be live now.
Yes, I got the message that we are live.
Yes, I did too.
Yep. Me too.
Okay. So can we vote on the minutes?
Yeah.
Please.
Sorry, are we voting?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Otherwise,
All those who
I'm in favor.
agree.
I mean, I wasn't present, but I've read the minutes and I
just
agree.
vote.
I raised my hand in the window.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh,
Another one.
Adriana?
Bojana,
Okay.
So I have two votes. I have two votes, one for Adriana and the other one for Phil Cordero.
Oh yeah, I have two votes also, I forgot.
Two hands.
Did you manage to
was it counted?
count them, Hannah?
yeah, I got 9.
Okay.
Okay,
That's right.
so the minutes were passed. Okay, now the next issue on the agenda is the Treasury. As some of you may know, I was shooting a feature 6 days a week, long hours, and just finished yesterday. I still worked on many IMAGO issues in the meantime, but I am back. I'm not up to date on the Treasury. I've paid the bills, rent, things like that. There are no payments due. But there's still a lot of work to be done on the Treasury. So my suggestion is that, and that's also Bojana's idea, actually it's Bojana's idea, is that in 10 days the board comes up with, I had, before that, I had, at the last board meeting, I asked Philippe Corday if he would be the new treasurer, because obviously, as I said, since I was elected president, I had no intention of staying, of being treasurer and president at the same time. It was never in my thoughts. Philippe Corday thought about it, and for reasons that I understand, said turn down the job because it's too much for him. There's all his other things that he has to do. So we have no treasurer. I mean, I am still officially the treasurer and doing part of the work, but we have to come up urgently with somebody else. So the Bojana's idea is that within 10 days, we all think about it and see if we have somebody that can do the work. Otherwise, my suggestion is that I hire somebody to do the accounting part of things. So until we have a treasurer. So I want to hear your thoughts about that. And if anybody has another idea, I'd appreciate it. Yes, Bojana?
Okay, just to clarify, maybe we should know what should be the rules and the terms of being a treasurer. So one thing is we are looking a new treasurer. Just a second, sorry. Just to turn off WhatsApp. So one thing is that we are looking for a new treasurer. The other thing is that we're looking for someone who could be accountant. So while we were talking on who might be a person for this task, you said it would be good that he speaks French, he or she speaks French. And what else? What else are
It's
the
not only
terms?
that it'd be
So-
good, it's a necessity.
So it must be a French-speaking person. That's one thing. And what are the other rules or terms that we must know in order that we can, in a 10 days, try to find a person that we maybe invite or ask?
Well, the idea that I suggest, and I think that was Philippe Corday and other people on the board, is that we transfer all the invoicing, which is the bulk of the work, the invoicing of the full members, the associate members, the sponsors, and all the accounting that goes with it, to Finaudit or to Cefilux if we change to Cefilux or to whatever other company that can do the work. As far as I know, and I have a meeting with Thierry Ospi of Finaudit tomorrow, because then he's going on vacation. The cost of Finaudit to do the invoicing in the past was an extra 1,000 euros a month. So that's a lot of money on top of what we already pay Finaudit. Obviously, if we manage to change to Cefilux, which is not in Brussels and has given their prices, that would bring the amount down. I think it's going to be, any suggestion is welcome. I think it's going to be difficult to find a cinematographer who's willing to do the invoicing, the payments. The payments doesn't take that much time, and in the meantime, until we nominate the treasurer, I will still be doing them, because this is not something that can be passed either to an accountant, because that's the key to the money of IMAGO, and it should be the responsibility if somebody has been nominated by the board and then by the Yaga. So this is my proposal, but in the meantime, I do need help unless we find somebody in those 10 days, I do need help with the accounting. Yes, Roberto.
What was the cost difference between Finaudit and the other company that you mentioned?
I don't have the price handy, but it's a huge saving. It's like half.
And is there a problem because they're not in Brussels?
No, there's no problem because they're not in Brussels. It's just all the work to transfer and to bring them up to date with the IMAGO, all the work that has to be done. Because it's not only the accounting that it's an auditing company also. One thing that's also another proposal of mine is that we leave the VAT system, which cost us more money, because every 3 months we have to, or every 4 months actually, we have to
every 3 months.
3 months, yeah, 3 months. So I was right the first time. Every 3 months we have to, do things with Finaudit. So have a meeting and pass on all the books. So I think that if we leave that will already bring the cost down. But that's what it entitles.
Why are we even in the VAT system if we're a nonprofit and we don't sell things?
Because in the past, I think it was for the Micro Salon, the Secretary General decided that we needed a stand, and that's.
Well, it's a tricky. We need a specialist to look into this kind of things, because what are you providing? How do you define the sponsorship? All these kind of things, the territoriality of it, it's very tricky. I think, yeah, a specialized company, somebody should look. Then the treasurer can have a function of supervising or validating, but we do need specialists in this domain.
I agree. I mean, I took on the treasury and I didn't know how much work it entitled. And if you're in the pandemic and not shooting, that's not so much. But if you start working like most of us, what's happening to most of us, it's a huge amount of work.
Of course.
And I think it's difficult. So I'm in favor of transferring the bulk of the work to a company. I think it's something that when I was a treasurer in the past, everybody, Roberto was one wanted it to be done by an external company. We just have to do it in a way that it won't cost us so much more money. Yes, Ron?
Look, I think it's a very practical idea that it's outsourced and always have. I just think it's too much work for one of our members or someone on this board to take on that responsibility. It should be given to someone via an outsource.
I agree. The other thing, in ABC, where I was treasurer until the 1st of July, it's a work of supervision. It won't be possible with IMAGO, but I didn't even do the payment. I said, yes, you can pay this and that. I gave my approval, and I supervised all the payment and all the accounting, the new system online of payment, but I didn't do the actual invoicing of the payments. Yes, Rodgerius, I'm sorry, I hadn't seen you yet.
Yes, okay. To begin with, I agree with Adriana's idea. Let's think about it for a few days. But to be honest, I'm not very optimistic on that. So again, I think your idea of funding somebody to do the accounting, the technical part for you, may be good. And probably I missed something, but perhaps you can find some company or some person in Brazil that might be able to assist you and would cost us much less money. The idea of the fin audit, I don't know. Having been the Secretary General of the GSC for some years, at the time that fin audit was issuing the invoices, I can say that they usually had to reissue because they would issue wrongly. I mean, they would send wrong data, wrong whatever, and a wrong name or wrong address. I don't know how they could find that, but we have had issues every year with fin audits invoicing. So giving them €1,000 for that does not make me happy. I would also suggest that you keep at least the payments, so you have you know what goes out of the system. And something we are using in Isocrates is that we have two different bills in the bank, two different accounts in the bank, and we use the one to get for the incoming payments. So we always know exactly what has come, and we don't have to look through long catalogs of back transfers to see if somebody has paid or not. That's it. Thank you.
Ron, I'm going to give you the voice just a second. I just wanted to answer Rodgerius. It never is a question, and fin audit would never accept its. They were asked. Nobody in Belgium will accept, nor should we, as you say, give the payments, the key to the safe, let's say, of IMAGO to anybody that's not a member of the board.
Okay.
I wouldn't cross my mind to do that, and it's not possible anyway. They wouldn't accept this responsibility. Now, yes, I know, since I have also looked at years before 2020, I have seen that the way the fin audit invoiced was problematic. So I believe what you're saying about them invoicing wrongly your society. So yes, there's still going to be a lot of supervision work, and it's one thing to invoice wrongly the societies, which is already not a good thing. But when you start invoicing wrongly the sponsors, or not having the right tone of voice with the sponsor, that can be even more problematic. So that's something to bear in mind. I mean, let's leave those 10 days. I have some thoughts of solution, but I'd rather wait 10 days to put it up to the board. Let's see if somebody finds somebody is willing to be the treasurer. If not, I have a solution for at least until the end of the year. But yes, Ron, sorry.
I think my point will be mute because I think I don't agree with waiting 10 days. I think we've got to make a decision earnestly and soon. We can't keep going around in circles. So that's my thought on it.
Well, I think I agree with you that it's more than urgent. But this is Bojana's suggestion, and I respect
sure.
it, and Adriana's suggestion, and
But surely, you agree with it. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but we, as I said, we can't keep going around in circles.
Yeah,
that's all.
And another thing I'd like to add, I forgot, is that I think there is a yearly deadline in Belgium to get the company out of VAT system. I don't know the dates. I don't remember. I had read something in the past, but we need to check the dates so that we don't, because if we miss a date, then we'll have to spend another year within VAT.
Do you all agree to vote on the VAT system, that we exit the VAT? Yes, Roberto?
Well, I'm voting that I agree. Yes,
yes,
I agree. I think it's absurd that we're in the VAT system for what we are and what we do.
Alex is raising his hand too.
Yes, okay, it's unanimous then.
Okay, yeah, the only advantage we had was for the rent. And in the system is such in Belgium that we in the VAT system they owe us 4,000 something, maybe it's more now. Last time I checked it was 4,000 euros something, but they keep it. And what I've been told by FinAudit is that if you ask for it immediately, you're audited by the government, by the local IRS. So. I think we should leave it. It will save money. It will be less bureaucracy for everybody, and there's no advantage. We don't plan selling anything. Yes, Vincenzo?
I was just saying when I was talking about some specialists to look in depth into this, because also the nature of the service that we provide to the sponsors say, if there is no territoriality that is directly linked, there are a lot of exceptions in the VAT system. I know it's, and if there is no territoriality, you don't have to pay VAT. So it really depends. I mean, I'm in favor of getting out of it, but I'm just saying that in any case, the matter should look into details by some specialists, by some people who really know, and it's not us because we're cinematographers.
No, I agree, but I've put it up. I've spoken to FinAudit, and I will speak to Thierry Ospiet tomorrow again, and Magali Wachachuk, and obviously they'll confirm it. But I think each time I've spoken about it in the past, the only advantage was for the rent. There's really no reason. We were not in the VAT system in the past. This is something that. Came up when it was transferred to. So if it's possible, then why stay? I mean, we had sponsors and received money from sponsors in the past without being in the VAT system. So,
No, I agree 100%. I was just saying that the matter is really complex in the sense there are ways also not to pay VAT. I mean, but yeah, it's just better to get rid of it altogether.
Yeah. Yes, Bojana?
So I would just like to summarize. First, one option is that we are looking for a new treasurer. The second option is that we are looking for someone who can help you, assist you until we find a new treasurer that can do invoicing for the members, associate members, and sponsors, and getting working job, but assisting you. And then if we give, if now we say we give 10 days for everyone because it's an urgent thing. After 10 days, do we finish this our proposals via email? How do we then vote? What do we do after 10 days? For example, you have someone to suggest, I have someone, or Jiris have someone, whatever. Do we continue via email, or we have to get her together on a short meeting just to vote for this?
Well, we could do a meeting. I'm not sure that everybody will be available. So I would suggest it could be done by mail. And if we see that we can have a meeting, let's see if I have to check on my own schedule. But I think email is feasible. What do you all think about that?
Email.
Yeah. Yeah. it's
Email
fine.
Email
unless
would
we
be
need-
fine.
unless we need but to make an agreement, I mean, to vote on it, I guess, I don't know, Christina, you may know better than I do. Don't we have to have a meeting to be able to vote, or is email vote okay?
I think email, it's okay, but it has to be clear what's about voting, and also they have to be really clear. Okay, these persons are proposed by whom, and he has been asked and he has accepted if he's voted. It has to be really clear, though, that it's not a while communication. It's a decision by email, I think. Yes.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I mean, there's two things will happen. Either in those 10 days we find somebody that is that can fill the job of the treasurer as it presently exists, and the entitles also helping with the transition with FinAudit and all that. And if we don't find that person, then voting on the possibility of the hiring of somebody to do the accounting part, and also obviously communicate with FinAudit and all that. But I'd still be legally responsible as treasurer to IMAGO, to its members. Yes. Yes, Christine.
Yes, only because when you have tomorrow this meeting, you could also check if there is some kind of date to make to finish the relationship with the auditors. Just to check the Belgian law and to ask it, so that we are more sure about it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing I think is, and that's what I had proposed that the Yaga or the Yiga, and I forget, is that we stay with FinAudit until the end of the year. But which doesn't mean that we not prepare to leave FinAudit and if it's Cephalux or whatever other company that we prepare. So at starting the 1st of January, we'd already be with a new company. I think that would make everything easier for all of us, and vis-a-vis the Belgium law. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Our budget can we is it sustainable? Because I know that we budgeted 6 months FinAudit and 6 months the cheaper accounting firm.
At the Jaeger, what I did, I said that I presented a new budget where I changed that item because we didn't know who the president be, who the treasurer would be. So I said, let's leave it as it is. Let's actually modify it so it's FinAudit until the end of the year. And actually, that's something that we voted on. The Jaeger voted on that. So even that change wouldn't actually be correct before the end of the year.
Okay, can you please share with all of us the final budget, maybe, because I was
Absolutely.
not with Jaeger. Please, thank you.
Yes, yeah, no, I'll send it in an email to all of you. Yes, Nigel?
Yes, I was thinking that if it doesn't take a huge brain expert to send out invoices. So if we were prepared to vote for somebody who is not board member to do it. Why don't we do that? And I see here that Ollie Perry, who is dealing with sponsorship anyway on various aspects. So why don't we ask him if he would be prepared to undertake the job of sending out the invoicing?
Well, the thing is, I don't know if Ali speaks French. It's not only the invoicing in itself, it's also doing the accounting, and with me present, obviously, speaking to FinAudit. There's extra work that has to be done with whatever auditing company is there. If it was just the invoicing, then it'd be easier. I mean, there's more entitled to do the work of the accounting. Nothing
if we're
against
getting rid
Ali.
of this company. If we're getting rid of this, if we're getting rid of this company anyway, there's not the necessity after whenever we get rid of them to have to speak French. I don't know what all he does. I don't know anything about him.
No, when there is a necessity to speak French, because we have to have an auditing company in Belgium, and English is not an official language, nor is it a language that most people there speak fluently, as far as I know. So unless we find somebody at Cefilux or whatever company that's fluent in English, with whom the future treasurer can communicate, then it is a problem, because there is, it has to be a communication between the treasurer and the auditing company. There's work to be done they have to do work together. I know it's not the next thing on the agenda, but since we were talking also about the VAT and the only saving that was the rent, I'd like to put something ahead on the agenda, which is Segel, the office. I think I'm not the only one. Many on the board agreed that we should let go with the office that's costing us 750 euros a month, and that we have no plan to occupy in the near future, as far as I know. And I have two proposals. One is, if the board agrees, I would contact Segel, which is the parent company of the office, or the owner of the office, and see if we can do an office sharing, so to reduce at least to half of that, if not more, because we wouldn't be using, and we could keep the address. And if they didn't agree, then FinAudit told me that in the past they have sent a proposal of addresses that would be much cheaper. I inquired about the PO box, and they said specifically it's not allowed under Belgium law. So we do need to have an address, even if it's a room or whatever it is. But we need to have an address of a place, and not just a PO box.
It doesn't have to be in Brussels, then, does it? The address?
No, it doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be in Brussels.
Well, the BSC in Pinewood, we hardly use the office. So if there's nobody going to be in it, which is not going to be, why don't I suggest to them that you may be interested in sharing it? Name and
Yeah, no, that's the proposal, is what's office sharing, the co-sharing, either Segel agrees that we co-share the office and see what the amount would be. We have until September, but I'd rather do it already in August at the latest, to break the contract. If we don't break the contract, we'll change the contract with Segel, then we're in for another year. And I think that's not a good thing. I don't know, is there anybody here that think we should keep the office as it is?
I never understood why we have an office anyway.
Yes, Christina.
No, it's not to keep the office as we have, but because I think the idea to ask for code sharing, it's wonderful. But I'm just thinking about, it was really wonderful because thinking the near future, IMAGO will initiative a more intensive lobby work. And so there to have a physical little room or even shared in this direction would really give more support. And even if we are thinking about asking for funding or by the UN Commission and all these programs, which are, it's good to have to maintain this direction and to, but I clearly see that it's ridiculous to have to pay every month 715 euros for nothing. But if we could make a co-sharing of an office, this would be wonderful. Really, I insist, thinking in the near future, where we will need something for making more pressure and to be more present in events in Brussels.
Oh, I favor the solution. It's going to depend on the board, first of all, making that decision. And if Segel agrees to the co-sharing proposal that will cost less, then I think that's the best solution rather than look for another place. Another thing that I have to say to the board, which is linked to this, is that I had applied in late February or March. Hannah can speak about that. I had said, where is Hannah? You're still there. That we change the address because Louis-Philippe is rightfully said that he didn't want to receive any mail from IMAGO at his business address anymore. And I had requested that regardless of that, we change the address. And we changed the composition of the board since we haven't registered a new board in more than 2 years. And I said then after the election, we would register the new board as it was after the Jaeger. The Tribunal of Commerce of Brussels received all the paperwork, and they turned us down because since we are foreigners, they came up that they need proof of residency of all the members of the board. So we have to restart this whole procedure, pay again, and you know, that's. I just want to let you know that this has happened. But yeah, that's just bureaucracy, and we'll deal with it. Regardless of us changing, we've already applied for the registration of the address as it stands now in the authorship building. Yes, Argyris?
Yes, I would also like to agree with Christina about possible lobbying and possible, funding from the European Union that we might ask for. And so I think we do need a physical place that no matter how small, very small, just one room, but or half a room, whatever. Another thing, you said they don't allow PO boxes. I understand that, but here in Greece, and Greece is part of the European Union, they also do not allow PO boxes, but they do allow companies who rent you a physical address, and you don't occupy any space there. I have a small company like that, and we pay 50 euros per month. And we never go to that position. Whenever whatever documents arrive, they call us and we go and collect them. And they also can rent us meeting rooms for, I think, 100 euros per afternoon or something like that, 2 or 3 hours. And so in case we really need a meeting room, we can go there and do our meeting, which has never occurred to us yet. But okay, so maybe since it's still European Union, there probably could be such a solution.
Well, actually, just to answer you first before I answer the Vincenzo Roberto, to give them the word, the idea of a co-working space is that we not occupy the place, and we pay a rent, and when we need to, a few times a year, we have the right to be in that room. That's the idea behind that. But yes, anyway, we need a space, even if we use it once a year or whatever. That's by law, we need to have a physical space. So yes, Vincenzo, I'm sorry.
No, and in fact, Argyris anticipated what I wanted to say. There are these possibilities also. My country, in any case, we need it, and also as a matter of continuity, I believe it should be in Brussels, and for all also the legal. But of course, much cheaper. But yeah, I wanted to say what Argyris said. So
okay, Roberto was next, and then Nigel.
Yeah, so Vincenzo mentioned, and I don't understand why we have to be in Brussels. It seems like the Belgian law are so arcane and so anti-progress that isn't there another EU country where we could have our business registered instead of Brussels? I don't even understand why we're in Brussels. I don't think there's even any cinematographers in Brussels.
Well, to answer you, Roberto, we used to be registered in France. Then when the AFC left, it was transferred to Belgium. As far as I know, because I've inquired about that, Louis-Philippe Capel worked very hard to make that transition. So it's not something that can be done easily and fast. I have nothing against it. I don't see why personally we should be in Brussels. It would have been easier if we were in the English-speaking country, since the official language of IMAGO is English. But England left the EU, and there's no other country in Europe that has English as an official language. I have nothing against. I think that's something that we can look into. It's not going to happen this year.
But does it has to be an EU country?
I don't know. That's something that can be that we can check. For the moment, it makes more sense because we have more EU members in IMAGO than any others. I think I'm not mistaken in making that assertion.
Yeah, but I think that's just a matter of membership numbers and such, but I don't know how that would really affects the legality of where we have to have our office and our place registered. I mean, there's so many companies, it's probably a whole other thing, but there's so many companies here in the US that are registered in the Cayman Islands because it works better for them, and that's all around the world. I mean, most countries, like the giant corporations in the United States, don't pay taxes here because they're all registered offshore.
Yeah.
So I was questioning as to whether we really have to be in an EU country and why Belgium, which doesn't speak English, and
I think it's a discussion that we can have in the future. I think it's not something that we can address at the present time.
I agree. I just wanted to
and I'm sure that our juries is probably going to say it's important to be registered in the EU since there's a lot of planning to do in authorship and in other issues that probably wouldn't be possible if we were registered in the Cayman Islands or who knows where. But
funding.
Yeah.
Funding also is possible in the EU, not possible in other countries.
Yeah. Nigel was asking to speak before you, Andres. Just
my question is, were the files from the book ever transferred from the Netherlands to Brussels to the office? Because if they were, it took a big van load to get them in. There's no question of an empty office. The office would be full if the files are still in the building there, if they were transferred. That's my question. I put on the question of English in Brussels. Brussels is full of English-speaking companies. I cannot believe that if this particular company will not speak English, we went to a lot of trouble and a lot of expense to transfer everything to Brussels. It would seem to be a waste of time and effort to transfer them everywhere else? If the simple answer is to find a company who can speak English.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on the table for now, leaving the Belgium or the EU. I think we're talking about the letting go with the office as it is, to go to a co-sharing space, to save money on an office that we are not using physically at the moment. There are boxes there that Roger Simmons went to Brussels and filmed, showed us a video of what was there. I don't know if people who were present at the meeting at the time showed it, but I think we should leave that for another future meeting and just decide and vote on what we should do with the office at the present time, if you all agree. Yes, Bojana?
So one option is just to have a physical address, and they propose that to us. It's the same company that is owner of the office proposed to us to have only address. The other thing is, so we have to check how much that costs. The other thing is to share the space, to have a co-sharing space. But since we are going to get out of the VAT system, it's going to be maybe half of the amount that we pay now, plus 20 or something percent. That is what's in Brussels. And then the third solution is those are actually those two solutions. So what I would like really to ask is, I saw the video from the office. It's a lot of boxes, a lot of documents, a lot of t-shirts, and we have an issue that we must solve very fast. It's an issue about the IMAGO Award that was that Honeyland cinematographers received 2 years ago. And since I will talk about that later, I'm going to meet them in Manaki. We have to organize somehow to get that award and to give them the award, because it's really now embarrassing that we are not able for 2 years to give the physically award. So this is how much we use the office. So one thing is, if we go only with the address, what are we going to do with all the stuff that we have inside and documents and everything? And the second one is, if we are sharing it, how much it will cost? Is it going to be really a money saving? And the third question would be how to organize the awards. And the fourth is for Christina Argyris. You talk about EU funding. How can we go to the next step to find the person who is going to work with that, and how are we going to start using those EU funds we hear a lot about? Do you have someone in mind who can be in charge for that? Sorry, this is a lot, but
yeah. We're getting ahead of the agenda. I'd really like to make a decision on the office. If the board agrees for me to look a solution, I won't make that decision until I have the actual proposal of how much it will be to stay there. Regarding the boxes, we're not going into those boxes, so we could see how much it would cost to have in the suburbs a storage space, a small storage space where we could store those boxes, unless there's another solution. But I think the decision is, do I have your authorization, the board's authorization, to look for a solution so we save money on this? And the decision will be done by mail. I will give you we have this option, this option, this option. It's going to cost so and so, and this is what it's entitled.
Alex is raising his hand on the screen.
So it's passed, Hannah? Okay, thank you very much.
Just one practical question, Mustafa. Do we keep, does Hannah keep the physical book of the minutes? Because if not, we need to collect it from the Brussels office. And probably it needs to be, put in paper. I mean, the minutes, all minutes of IAGAS, IEGAS, boards, etc., should normally be placed in some sort of book. We print them and then we glue them on the book. But let's not miss these books whenever we move out of the office, because at some point, some authority might ask for it, and we have a difficult time finding them.
I'm confused. You want to digitalize whatever is there on paper?
No.
You...
Normally, what happens is that we do everything digital. We exchange PDFs, etc. But the minutes that we approve need to be put in some sort of book altogether.
The one that she's been doing since she's been working for IMAGO.
Okay, so we have this book. That's what I'm asking.
Hannah?
I believe that there has been a book that was being done prior to Sarah. And then when Sarah came, we started putting it on a Google Drive that she then transferred to me. But I think there is a book from until then. But I haven't put what I've done in a book, but I can definitely do that and follow the example of the previous books that are in the Brussels office.
Yes, I think this should be done just not for us, for any authority that might ask for the book. Understand? There should be one book for the board meetings and one book for the general assemblies normally.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and all you need to do is print and glue them on there. But we need to have them.
Okay.
Somehow. Okay, and we need to, to keep them separately from the office since you're not working in Brussels.
Okay. So now, Bojana, let's. Although it's not the next item, but we can go down now to the Manaki Brothers Festival. I think IMAGO should be present. I think we don't have much money for travel, so the board should vote on who goes there.
Just a second before we go to the Manaki. Just please let's finish this with the office. Is there any chance that whoever can, who has the key of the office, who can pick up that award? Because I really think that we need to solve it. Is there anyone here who is close to the? You have the key, but who can travel? Is there anyone who can travel, who can take the award and ship it to my address, to Nigel's address, to the address of the Macedonian cinematographers? Is that possible that we can do?
Well, we can pay if Hannah is willing. If Hannah is willing and available for this, we could pay her travel for her to go, or we can see if there's somebody in Brussels that we trust with the key, because I don't think anybody has the key there, right, Hannah? When Roger
I don't think the office has a double of the keys. They might have a double of the mailbox, but I don't know if they have a double of the office keys. I'd have to ask them.
Would you be willing to go to Brussels if the trip was paid to pick it up?
I could go. I could organize myself to go. Yeah.
So, do we agree with that solution? Can we vote on that?
Nigel had a question.
Oh, sorry, Nigel.
That's all right. Nigel?
Yes, Nigel?
And I was putting my hand up to vote, I think.
No, you asked what was the award for.
Oh, I did ask that question, yes, but I rudely interrupted. But I looked at that at the agenda, and I don't know what the award is for. So please, could somebody enlighten me?
The award is, the IMAGO award that was awarded in the past, and the physical award was never given to that person.
Oh, I see. That's the one we had in Serbia. Yeah, we did. I was there.
No, sorry, no, Nigel, that was after the Serbia. One year after Serbia, and the cinematographers from Macedonia, Samir Ljuma, and I don't remember the other one from the film Honeyland.
But I was there when we gave the IMAGO award to IMAGO. Gaina was there and Dore were both there for that award. So I don't understand where the award.
This was a year after. This was a year after in 2020. It was Serbia was 2019 and this is 2020.
Okay. What's it look like? It was, you know?
It's the glass, the bowl.
It's the same award. It's the same award that you gave 2019, but now 2020 because it was stopped during the pandemic. They couldn't physically get the award.
I see. Okay, thank you.
So, oh, there's something in chat. I'm sorry.
So regarding Manaki, Nigel, would you like to speak or you want me to speak?
Well, I'm very happy for you to speak, but I would say this, that it is wrong to think, if I may say, that IMAGO has not been at the Manaki. I've been going there for the last 15 years. The conference we've been holding, which is the Balkan, 10 Balkan nations, because we grew and Turkey was included, has been going for at least 5 years. I lose track with time. And that has resulted in a cooperation between the Balkan societies plus Romania, Bulgaria, and Turkey, which has brought together that unit of 10 nations in a way which I think is unique for IMAGO at the moment, and has resulted in very strong cooperation and collaboration between the societies, which I'm very pleased with.
Well, Nigel, I don't think any one of us suggested that IMAGO hasn't been present in all the work that you've done at the Manaki Brothers. We will only say who is going to be present representing IMAGO at the Manaki Festival. But obviously, Manaki Festival is extremely important, and we all value it.
Thank you. But I would say this, that I've never ever asked for a penny from IMAGO for the festival. Never ever. They've been very generous. That's the reason, basically. They've always paid my airfare, and they always put up our guests, our delegates. But this year, it seems to be becoming, and if it was left that way, I could organize the same thing again. But if we need somebody like Ellen, if Bojana thinks that it's a good idea to have Ellen there, then somebody like Ellen to go would be very useful. She's a dynamic person, as you know.
Well, as still being treasurer and president, I just want to say that for travel, we have a limited budget of in the official budget that was voted for travel. So this needs to be taken into consideration. I'm all in favor of you or Ron, Bojana, and whomever, Ellen, attending Manaki Brother Festival. I'm just saying that we have a limited budget for that.
I'm not asking for any fees for myself or anything, any expenses.
Okay,
I'm not saying you. Yes, Bojana.
Can I please just say the intentions for the Manaki Festival? So first, I can confess that Nigel's efforts are huge, a big deal for Balkan countries. And Nigel said it's ex-Yugoslavian countries plus Greece, Albania, Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey. So it is a very big deal. And Nigel, thank you for making that happen, since I'm from that country, and really means a lot for us, all your efforts, really. So this year, Nigel invited me to help him because he told that for the Welsh guy, it's very, how did you say, funny that you organize a Balkan country for a Welsh guy, but I think that it was necessary that someone aside organize us.
Well,
but,
I've been telling the conference that it's quite ridiculous to have a Welshman in charge of a conference of Balkan nations, which is why I've been telling them the best societies we have within the Balkans are yourselves, the Slovenians, and the Greeks, and they have been the best in cooperation with the Macedonians. It's brought Whole Life to Macedonia film, and so I'm very happy with the way it's gone, and I certainly, whether you send me or not, I'll go in any case. I'm a friend like this.
Okay, so Nigel invited me to help him with the Balkan Conference this year, and I accepted that, and I'm going to help any future year in the name of the IMAGO first, no matter that I'm part of the Serbian society. So this year we plan to make a Balkan Conference with two main subjects. One subject is that it's female cinematographers in the Balkans, and the numbers, because you know I was in Paris on a conference in the January, and we had the worst numbers in the whole Europe. So I really felt that we need to organize and to find the female cinematographers in the Balkans to start the initiative. So this is one subject, and the other subject that Nigel proposed is the education. So we contacted Alex Terian for that, and we are going to make this conference after I told Ellen that we will make a conference with the female cinematographers. She said she was willing to travel also to Manaki, but I didn't confirm with her intentions, so I have to check that and to see if she would go in the name of the diversity and inclusion, or in the name or in her name. So regarding Ellen, I have to confirm you if she will be available to travel and to join us for the female subject, female cinematography subject. And I think that her experience is priceless, and she's really with diversity and inclusion committee. She has a rich experience, so it would be great for the Balkan ladies to have someone to speak with, like it was Ellen. So regarding Ellen, I have to check if she is available and what that means, and I would come back if and what cost would that mean. Regarding myself, I have two options. One is that I ask Serbian society to pay, and that I'm a Serbian delegate, so I can do that. Or I can invite other Serbian delegates, and I can then ask for my travel, just the fuel, because I would drive to the Manaki to be paid by IMAGO. So if you allow me, I can give you the cost after I find if the Serbia can have another delegate or not. So, but those costs are not big, because I would travel by car, and it's not far away from Belgrade.
Okay.
Car always
before I
comes.
give you, yeah, Ron, I know you want to speak. I just wanted to say something.
I'm sorry.
Like I said, I'm all in favor, as many as people attend from IMAGO and outside the Manaki Festival. We have a limited budget. We have 7,000 euros for the whole year for travel of IMAGO. The next item on the agenda is the 30th anniversary in Rome, in Cinecittà, which I've been working on, although I was shooting. I've been very active with this, speaking to Luciano Tovoli, writing to the president of the AIC. There's also the festival of that Vincenzo has spoken about, which is also, I think, important. So, and then there's camera image. So there's a lot on the agenda for travel in this year. Ron has asked me to see if IMAGO could pay half of the cost of him traveling to the Manaki Festival. Nigel, with all the work he's done in the past, it's also important that he attends the Manaki Festival. You, Bozano, obviously as the vice president of one of the vice president of IMAGO, makes total sense that you would be present, and on top of that, being from one of the member societies. You know, the thing is the budget, and that you said about Ellen, the budget that exists for the different committees is not for travel. If you all remember, it's in the internal rules of IMAGO. It's not in the statutes. but as they exist, we're not supposed to pay for travel of members. So I don't know. This is on the table, and I'd like to hear more from the board regarding this. It's not about me making a decision. Obviously, it's about the board making the decision.
I'd just like to say, as far as I'm concerned, just rule me out of any financial implications for IMAGO completely. And I would say to Brianna that Pedro Pambic always comes, they usually drive. And I think at the conference, I think have your all women conference, but let's also have a mixture of the men to listen to your problems and you women to listen to the men's problems. It's not a one-way business. And the greatest education you can get for having the rights for photography is the fact that we men are benefiting from it. And therefore to be together is strengthening the whole conference.
I'm sorry, Ron, I should have given you.
It's okay, it's all good. Oh, just a sec.
No, you
Okay.
just muted your.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity, and thank you for bringing up the correspondence that I sent to you earlier today, Mustafa, along with our ACS president, Erica Addis. The ACS have just completed, after 2 years, a first review of working conditions in Australia in the camera department. And it's taken that long by surveys and meetings and through one of our leading universities in Australia. Their team of researchers have gone into this, and some of the results are quite staggering in the negative. And what is being launched, it's being launched on the 28th of this month in Sydney at the film school to a wide audience. And the thought was that it's already been presented at the ASC, or a simplified version of it has been presented during the conference, the summit. And the thought was that I would, if possible, travel to Manaki and present this world first research as part of the Gender Diversity Committee at Manaki. Ellen is aware of this, and Ellen was in Los Angeles and met Erica Addis, our new president. And this document, I think, will be quite an eye-opener for all countries, no matter where you are, no matter where we work. I just think the results of this research will come as quite a shock. So that was the idea, and that was why today I sent a letter to Mustafa, and just seeking any chance that IMAGO could look after half my flight to Manaki. But that's a side issue. So that's that reason.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm all in favor of everybody going. The only thing that I see is that we only have 7,000 euros for the whole year for travel for IMAGO members, and you know, this like I said, there's the Sicily festival that's important. There's the Rome IMAGO event, which I believe we're looking for sponsors. I've spoken to Ali, and Ali says that once the project is put together, but this is the next item on the agenda. So I want to speak of it as a whole and not just a bit. But yes, Vincenzo, please.
Oh, I know it's, but since you mentioned, I wanted to make clear that we're not looking for financial support. And we're not a festival in the sense that we are mostly a training camp. But what matters to us is the mission is on film. And more in general, I have to say, I had a talk with Kodak in London last week. They want to be part in IMAGO. I don't know if they were talking to Ole. They feel, and I agree with them, that the film should be part of IMAGO. I mean, the discussion on film, we're not talking about. And this has nothing to do with nostalgia, you know, or the debate that we already so fed up with. digital versus film or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. As film culture, film discipline, film values, and also when it comes to the new generations, I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but I wanted to say this: we are not looking for financial support. We have a mission. We are cinematographers who do this. There is a participation fee, of course, but we try to keep it as low as possible, and it happens because of the technical partners we have, and I have to say also of the colleagues who come there, just joining this vision. But more in general, I think that, a discussion about film, a discussion about where do the new cinematographers come from the IT. We all went through camera, right? I think most of us, I don't know if there's somebody who was a gaffer, but we all come from a photography background. I think this a reflection, like thinking about who's going to be the cinematographer in 10 years or in 20 years. Have they ever seen a dark room? Have they learned exposure on film? And in film is still pretty much there and pretty much alive. So that's regarding our experience, and hopefully we'll have more time to talk about this later. I don't want to jump ahead in the agenda. For the rest, I believe we have to support a participation of IMAGO where IMAGO is actively giving an active contribution to the event. Given the fact that both Manaki and Camera are special, because Manaki was the first festival, the first event, even before Camera, to be fair. And Camera has become whatever it has become. So I believe these two have to have a special emphasis on. But in any case, it has to be an active participation. It has to bring IMAGO to the fore, bring visibility to IMAGO, bring visibility to our activities, and hopefully also what are our priorities. That is the board to decide whether it's diversity or whether it's working conditions or whether it's authorship. These are things that have to be decided. It has to be a presence with a content.
I agree. I mean, that film is important. I see even here in Brazil where we have no labs anymore, there are a lot of young people who shooting things on film, then sending it to England, to London, to labs in London, and there is an interest. But that's another discussion. Yes, Roberto.
As regards the IMAGO presence at these festivals or places where there's an importance, I was not able to go, but in retrospect, did IMAGO actually do anything at Cinegear this year? I know there was talk about having a stand and this and that. I don't know. Was there an IMAGO stand? Did it make any sense? How much did we spend if we did? Because I think it would be a kind of a ridiculous thing at Cinegear.
Well, just to answer your question, which is actually was also the next item on the agenda. Cinegear, as it was, had just been elected and hadn't prepared anything. The contract that I signed with Emily Rua of Cinegear Los Angeles is a contract that they would use the name IMAGO and we could use the Cinegear, but there was it involved no amounts of no funds. I turned down having a booth because I don't see the use. We're not selling anything. Even if we did send somebody, I don't see what having a booth would really do. And she's asking me what we want to do if we want to booth at Cinegear Atlanta. And I know Atlanta is now a big place, a place where a lot of films are shot in the US now. So it is, I imagine that Cinegear Atlanta is also important. But what I'd like us to decide is to do the same. My proposal is we do the same as with Los Angeles. Is we have no booth, we pay for nothing, we don't have flyers, because she wanted us to print flyers and things like that. Yes, Roberto?
I was going to say, I have not been to Cinegear Atlanta. I don't know how big an event it is. I know there's a lot of a lot of movies and TV being shot in Atlanta, although there's a lot of pushback against anybody going to Atlanta anymore because of their incredibly bad politics in Georgia. And I know that we're moving away from, as much as we can, from moving, except they give high rebates, but people here are very unhappy about shooting in Atlanta, anywhere in Georgia. But that aside, at Cinegear in the past here in Los Angeles, the ASC has always had a booth and the BSC have always had a booth, or British Cinematographers always had a booth. So I was going to suggest maybe if they're doing it in Atlanta again, to do a co-opt, ask the ASC or the other organizations if we can just have a presence in their booth.
The ACS have also had a booth.
This year? Did you do it this year too?
No, we didn't do it this year, but we've done it for the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay, so the idea of maybe doing it combined, just having IMAGO as a visual presence in one of the other society booths. But I agree. I don't think it makes any financial sense for us to spend money on a full booth.
Well, it's usually free anyway, Roberto.
Because I know.
Well, with the ACS and with the IMAGO, for the last 2 years, I think IMAGO, maybe 3 years, that I negotiated a free booth with them. So there's no cost except getting someone there.
Okay, because usually Cinegear, I know their booths for
Roberto,
wait, hold on a second, Nigel. Nigel, hold on a second. I know that Cinegear is very expensive for the booths for the people who are sponsor, selling things. Maybe they don't charge for the societies. I don't know, but I'll cede the floor.
Yes, Nigel.
Cinegear has been trying to get the East Coast exhibition off the ground for many years. They need us much more than we need them, is the way I read the whole situation. And I don't think they have good sponsorship, and I don't think we should pay them a penny.
Yeah, no, I don't think she hasn't asked me for money for a booth. She just wanted to know if we wanted a booth. Now, if we have a booth, what she did request is that we have flyers and pamphlets and all that. This I think is in August, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's in October. October.
Okay, so there is time. But what flyers? What would we print? Who's going to come up with this? Obviously we can leave it for next month's meeting, and I can leave it open with her to give her an answer on what our participation would be, if it's a booth with flyers and things, if we share a booth with ASC or ACS, whatever it is. Yes, Ron?
We won't. I don't think we'll be attending Atlanta. It's not viable for us. But we did in the past. We had an IMAGO brochure that we designed, and that was used. So it's probably just a matter of looking at that or redesigning it and printing that. But what do I tell you? The ACS have only ever had. We never had brochures. We had our magazine, and that was limited because of the cost of freight over there at that time. Yeah. And we had banners. We had some of those pull-up banners, and it's only you've got to understand, it's only an area that's maybe 2 meters, 3 meters at the most. It's not a big area. It's not a big area.
Ron, Ron touched on the reason that the ASC and BSC, when they're doing the British Cinematographer, the whole reason they had the booth is to sell the magazine.
Yeah.
It was, to show the presence, but to sell the magazine. And if IMAGO doesn't have anything to sell, a little sign that just says IMAGO and a link to a website or something, I think is enough.
You just need sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I forgot to mention the banner was also another request. What I see as we can see what has existed in the past, what we could see. I don't think we should spend much money on our limited budget to come up with this. So if we can modify and print something that's not too expensive and make banners, we have to look into the cost. And the other thing is that would this entitle us sending somebody there? Because again, our budget for travel is limited. I don't know if somebody. Go ahead. No, go ahead. No. Go ahead, please.
Hang on.
It's me.
You just muted yourself.
And stupid old man. We have representatives in North America who can go. We don't have to send someone from Europe.
There's
Oh yeah,
plenty
no,
of people in
absolutely.
Atlanta.
But I don't know if Roberto or Steve or somebody from IMAGO is available to represent IMAGO.
Well, does it have to be a board member? Can it just be a member of one of the societies like the ASC or the BSC? And there's somebody from almost every society right now shooting something in Atlanta, and they will be. So you can, I'm sure you could find somebody that's actually there even who'd be happy to do it, who'd be, you know, consider it an honor. It's only 3 days.
But at least it has to be somebody that has some knowledge of what's going on at IMAGO.
Sure, sure. Well, we could, you know, if we find somebody, we could probably teach them in a few days.
No problem with that.
I agree with Roberto.
We can leave it for the next month's meeting to make that decision and check on cost and of banners and a pamphlet and whatever.
Can I just say, please?
Yes.
Just quickly. So since I was in a contact with Emily before you were elected as the president, she didn't ask. They didn't ask for any money for the booth. They offered that through the sponsor package for their presentation at the IMAGO webpage. So they didn't ask for any money. And if we plan to make a brochure, then a brochure for the IMAGO would be useful at the Manaki, at the Camera Image, at the Vicenzo Festival, as well as at the Cinegear. So if we have a chance and we have a budget to make it, then we really fast we have to react very fast to design, to redesign, to design, and to make a link to the web page. I think that is at the Instagram. I think that is most necessary. So if you think that, we think to find out the way how to do that. Who can prepare? Who can be into preparing that brochure for the IMAGO? And if any one of you has that as a task before, maybe Ron, maybe we can do that. And just to summarize very quickly for the Manaki, I can take on myself, since Nigel said that he doesn't need any financial help. I can check with the society if I'm a delegate to get paid, to have paid travel. And then we can see if what cost would be for Ron or Ellen, and to summarize and send to the all board members to see if we can afford that. Is that something? Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to know about cost to make that decision of who IMAGO can send. Ron, you wanted to speak. I'm sorry.
Just quickly, maybe tomorrow, because it's 2:30 in the morning here. Maybe tomorrow I will send you the designs we've had in the past for the brochure to the board, and someone can have a look at those, and you know, they'll be dated, but and they may, and we can make a decision about the brochure. But it's from memory, it's A5. It's an A5 4-page, 2-page brochure, you know, that folds out, and the information is on the front, the middle, and the back. So I'll send those to you, and you can have a look at them.
Okay. Do we still have some of the physical of those? No,
because the design was changed as we got new members, we would have to change the design, and so we tried to make the last one fairly generic. But anyway, as I say, I'll send them to you, and you have a look.
Okay, thank you very much. The next item on what's number 5, which is the.
May I just add something very quickly to help on that last, because I think it does help. I think the idea of a brochure is good. I think we can make it generic by including an article within the brochure, which will take into consideration the latest research that Ron has done on women in television, in film. We should look at that. Somebody like Brianna, and look at it, rewrite it, and include that in the brochure. So then it could go out, and that genetic brochure can go out anywhere. Can go to Camera Image, can go to, if necessary, to Monarchy. But better still to Cinegear and Camera Marge.
Yeah, maybe it could be something that goes inside the IMAGO brochure itself. So we can still use the IMAGO brochure independently of the study. I think that makes more sense. It could be distributed together, but Ron knows more about that.
Could be an ACS IMAGO joint presentation. It doesn't really matter. IMAGO will be on it.
Yeah, I need to check with my colleagues about that because the document itself is copyright research to the university. So I need to check a few things on that.
Okay.
Yeah, but if they agree, it could be distributed together without us putting our name on it, because obviously we haven't, unless they want to.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen it, so I think before we put our name on anything, we should also read it, and not that I think there's anything wrong with it. The other thing is the BSc magazine. One thing that I didn't know before I was elected is that the IMAGO has a commitment with the BSc magazine to write an article every month for the magazine. So although I was shooting, I did write something. I'm not sure if they published, because I know they published also what I wrote in the newsletter, but I had written a separate piece for them, so I would write exactly the same thing.
It's appeared, and it's very good. Well done.
Oh, and I also wrote something for Cinematography World. I did send it in time, Brazilian time, maybe not in time for the deadline, the European time I was shooting, so it was really hard for me to do so. But for next month's, Zoe Mutter of the BSc magazine has asked me for another article, and I don't think it should be the president writing an article every month. So it's first of all, I'd like to have we for our administration together to have things to show before I just write things about promises or projects. So I know Ron and Ellen had something they wanted to write. I don't know if anybody else wants to write something for next month, so I can answer Zoe Mutter regarding this.
Yes, I have something, as you know, Mustafa. I prepared something which Zoe was going to run as a separate thing in another area of the magazine. Not Zoe. It was Zoe, wasn't it?
It is Zoe.
Yeah. And so she still has that. I was just going to relook at a couple of things on it, but I can send that to the board and see what you all think about it. If you'd like to have a look at it, give me a nod and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It's really observations. It's really my observations of how IMAGO has been since it's gone international and how it is. What's IMAGO all about? Yeah.
One proposal another proposal, which doesn't have to be for the next issue, but I think it's important, is that we send out something about the committees. I think that can be an interesting thing for us as an IMAGO board to speak about the work each committee is doing. I think there should be actually more communication from the committees to the board, because as personally, I don't know what is being done by the committees, and I think there should be more communication between the board and committees. Not that we want to interfere, or I want to interfere with the work of the committees. It's just, I think that if we're part of the same organization, there should be some more communication, or better communication. So that's one thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Bojana.
No, I just wanted to second you. I think that we should send an email to the committees, and we should inform everyone that once a month we need something for the IMAGO web page with news and newsletter and everything, that once a month we can publish something in British Cinematographer magazine. Then we can invite committees with their projects, and they have to know that we have that opportunity. So maybe they will come up with some ideas. And maybe in a month or in 2 months after Nigel, after the Manaki, Nigel, you or you and me together, we can make something for that. But inviting committees, it's very important. And I really wanted to second your thought about communication between committees. And
the BSC magazine, I don't think it's monthly. It's but Nigel obviously knows more about that.
The BSC magazine, really speaking, has nothing to do with the BSC, and that's one of our problems. However, we have agreements with it, and we have now recently signed contracts with it. But it's about 7 times a year. I think it comes out 7 to 8 times. And the next deadline, the present edition has just come out here. At least I get it at home. And the next deadline, I think they said, if I'm not, maybe wrong, I thought they said it was July the 29th.
I think 27, I think she sent me as a deadline for sending the article.
Yeah, anyway, it's not far away.
Yeah, it's far. It's quite close. That's why I wanted it to be brought up by this. So if Ron, if you could send to the board for this issue, what you and Ellen have, and then we'll see if anybody has another proposal, which if it's not run in this issue can be run in the next one. Yes, Argyris?
Yes, I'd like to say that definitely the authorship committee would like to write something. Now, till the 29th, I think we'll have to
27th.
27th, that's even worse, but I think we can try to do something, to prepare something. After all, there are things taking place and happening all around us, and it's very important to communicate. Also, I would like to just take the opportunity now, Bojana. There is a small possibility that I will come to, independently of IMAGO, to the festival. In that case, perhaps it would be interesting to present a few things on authorship during the conference. Okay, but it's not definite yet, so I cannot say anything. And of course, the cost will be on the GSC if I come, not on IMAGO.
Yes, I will contact you. I will contact your society regarding delegates, so we can talk about it.
Yes, please do it, because it's a bit weird, my position. I don't want to press them to send me, definitely. Okay. So perhaps if you ask them who are you going to send, etc., that would be better. Thank you.
No, I have a presentation. The next thing is communication, which I think needs to be improved. I think our website needs to be improved. I think Bojana's idea of the Instagram is going well and increasing steadily, though compared to IMAGO, last time I checked, at 3,000 something followers, the Instagram, which is a tool that is used a lot by mostly younger generation. So it's important, since we're also about education, as we have also said, because I had unfortunately forgotten to mention education in the work of the committees, which was totally unintentional. I think this communication needs to be improved. I have a presentation that I contracted somebody out of my own, on my own, and to see if we want to go further, and then obviously the cost would be for IMAGO to improve our communication. So I want to show this to you. Just give me a minute.
Well, while you find that, I must be very honest.
Yes, please.
I must be very honest with the Instagram thing. It was the when Ellen and me met, and when we started talking about during the presidency of Ron and Ellen, she came up with this idea, and then I developed that, and that was actually a joint thing at the beginning, and after that I took it. But I think it really goes very well, and that was one point while you're finding things. And it should be also developed for the next year. So this is the pioneer beginning of rising the followers of the Instagram, but we can do a lot, and we should continue working on that.
Yeah, I think it definitely needs to increase. Part of the communication project, this person who has studied what we have in IMAGO presently, and actually would like him to make the presentation himself to IMAGO if the board is interested, because obviously it's something designed by him and he'd be better suited to present it. But I'm going to present it myself first. And one of the things he checked is that we have about 3,000 followers. Maybe we've reached 4,000, I doubt it. But like ABC has more than 26,000. The CSC has over 30,000. ASC, I have no idea, but must have a lot. So I think this is something that should be increased. And one of his ideas is that it shouldn't be just presentation of images, but that it would also take people to discussions and to other links of things. So let me just check.
Where is he from? No, please.
He's from Brazil. He's a director who now works for an ad agency. Because of the pandemic, since there was a little shooting, he went back to work for an ad agency.
Are you in touch with him?
Yes, I've had this past months. I've had meetings.
Perhaps he doesn't know that we made a film about IMAGO called The Spirit of IMAGO.
Maybe
That was,
no, I don't think so.
No.
If you have a link to that film, that'd be great for me.
No, well, I'm not very good on links, but we did make it. Richard Andre and myself made it, and must be 10 years, more than 10 years probably ago. I can't remember, but it's very interesting as a historical record. We had people there from everybody we could find asking what they thought of IMAGO, why it was important, that sort of stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble finding that.
Nigel, maybe that film could be shown at the 30th.
I was thinking that it came to my mind then.
Yeah, that seems to be like the place for it, since it's a historical document, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, also important for me to mention that he was a director at McCann, the agency, for a long time. So somebody that knows his business.
McCann, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Nigel, maybe you can type us the name of the film so we can try to find it. Maybe in chat you can type us the name.
Yes, I'm sure I can find it somewhere. I know I've got a couple of copies somewhere left over. They were handed out to everybody for viewing. Everybody we could have.
But do you have it online? Have you seen it
no,
online?
I don't think I do. But I can check.
Okay, and you can maybe take with you one copy so we can put it.
Yes, I can get it copied. I'm going tomorrow to see a colorist. He'll transfer it for me, and we can he'll put it online.
Okay, I've just put it into the chat for everyone to see. I can open a separate page so I can explain the idea behind that. Hold on a second.
Can you do a screen share?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. Okay. Sorry. Okay, here it is. Yes. Okay, so he took images that are present on the IMAGO website, and you know what, looking ahead is about you know what's where do we want to go basically, and what we want to be done. Go down bit by bit. Sorry, I'm not so good at this. You know, the communication, the recommendation starts with an objective. What is our objective? I think we have very good content, but we need the IMAGO site at the present time, and I hope you understand what I want to say. Can be better. I think it should be more appealing to people who open it, and even our newsletter, I think, needs to be better in the sense that we should have catching phrases that people want to read the whole thing. And the same thing with the site. And so that's one thing. How do I go down here? But really, he would be best if we could present it. What is IMAGO known for? What are we really wanting to talk to and build a relationship with? I think, you know, obviously it's about other cinematographers, students, but also producers and people who are involved with filmmaking and audiovisual in general. So his first suggestions are the hub for cinematography, the relevant information, the place for professionals to meet and communicate, the international reference for what is what is new in terms of images and who is doing the best worldwide, the hub for all the best festivals and awards from the key cinematography organizations worldwide, a place for those who capture the light in the world, and of course, visually amazing. So and you know, our target, as I said, in the cinematographers industry, sponsors, students, and other people curious about cinematography. Where do we want to find the opportunities to communicate? Which is Instagram, IMAGO website, the IMAGO newsletter, the events and awards, PR work that needs to be done, and other secondary possibilities of one which I will mention, which is Bojana's idea, which is the podcast, which has a lot of possibilities. I think, as she has said herself, the podcast is something because she wants to start something already in August. But for it to work, we need to, it's not enough to start something. We need to have something continuous because it's a big effort to get it started, and we need to keep it going. So we have to see what we have in the budget and what's possible for this. But I'll let Bojana, since it's her project, talk about it. Instagram will bring visibility and conversation frequently, and we need to increase that. Make people curious. By the way, IMAGO Instagram evolution is visible, but it still needs to use more tools to communicate with the viewers. And I mean, I don't have to read you can all read what is written in the presentation. I've made notes, but we need to make it more attractive, especially the website, I think. It has the right content, but it needs, I think we need to use our images more in the website. Same for the newsletter.
Yeah, the only thing I can tell you, when I spoke with Oli Perry about the images that we can use on the web page and on the Instagram, he always said that we really need to have the authorship rights fully covered. So this is something that keeps him that keeps being complicated for him to make to put a lot of images, because he cannot organize the authorship rights for everything, and he doesn't put any image that he doesn't have authorship rights very clearly. So this is why it was complicated for him to curate the images before.
I understand. Yeah, I think one of the proposals from Ale Braga, who's the person who came up with this project, is that it's not only about images, but also using phrases, about what's new in each committee and things like that. So people want to read the whole thing and not just receive it and just brush through. And as we all know, we are bombarded with emails and images. So it's really catching the attention of people is important. And about PR, Twitter, although it's problematic in the moment, it's something that can catch the attention of people, so it should be used. LinkedIn, although it was more of a corporate thing until recently, as far as I've seen in Brazil, it's being used more and more by professional as a tool of communication. TikTok, although I personally, I'm not into it, but we have to think that the new generation use it a lot, and it's something that could be used also to bring in more, viewers to Imago and more attention, which obviously the more people we have for looking at our social medias, the more interest of the sponsors will have in Imago, giving Imago more visibility. So time and resources. I think one thing that I want to bring up, because I have spoken to him about the app, which saying that it wasn't, obviously it's not going to be done this year, and might not be ready for next year. He had an experience with one of his clients in a totally different area, and they spent a lot of money on an app which finally wasn't used. So the client wanted to put a lot more money in the app, and he advised them after research not to do so. He said he doesn't think the app is something that will get us anything. He thinks we should use the other tools that we have. So I think further study should be made, but maybe we should hear. I was all in favor of the app. I wanted to do the same thing for ABC, but maybe it's something we should think about and talk about before we spend money on an app. One thing that Adriana and Bozana and other people have spoken about, and I'm all in favor, is that instead of paying for some of our members to write articles, we can just take articles from all the societies, and this could be used both ways. We would use and adapt articles in a way that they're shown as articles from the ACS, the ASC, or whatever. If they authorize, I think that the EFC is interested. ABC surely would be. So there's an exchange. Imago is shown on in society webpage and vice versa. I think this would motivate people from societies more to look more into IMAGO. Creating conversation within the community, and this is also a project that she thinks would be important for Instagram. And then how to make it happen, and he wants to be able to listen if we decide to work with him, to listen to all of us. Bozana suggested that we make a communications group, which I think is a good idea. But the first step, I think, should involve all the people present on the board, because I'm sure we all have something to give in that, or to say in that respect. Then the investment, how much money do we have this year? We all know that it's limited, and come up with a budget next year about what to go further ahead in this project of communication. And that's it. So I'll stop sharing. Yeah, do you have any comments?
Yeah, very impressive. It's a very impressive document. And it also reminds me of when we first started to talk about redesigning the logo, we had a similar presentation from the design company in London. And I just found it actually. And if you'd like me to, I can send that also, just so you can see what transpired during that period of time. It's not dissimilar, but it's for a different media, obviously. So I can do that, but it's very impressive.
Please do.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, him presenting it would have been much better than me, because it's hard to go through my notes and to speak at the same time. But so if you all agree, I could see if he would be available for our next meeting, and try to do it briefly. We've all seen the images. I've sent it in the chat. You can download it. But I think him presenting it and answering questions would be a good thing. So unless you have any more comments on that. Yes.
So that would mean that it means that it would be a general charge for every communication IMAGO has, and that's good. And what about the budgeting? Can we afford that?
Well, first, before he gives us a budget, because he would be supervising it, but we would have to hire somebody who designs things, because he's not a designer himself, and who feeds the. I know that presently, Alex is the webmaster and all that, but this whole communication, we're all busy as cinematographers. So we need people that can, have hands-on thing on this. So it's things that changed more frequently in articles. So they're, I think it has. Hannah can also be more involved in this. I think we have to, regarding budget, we have to sit down and say, this is how much we want to allocate for this project. The good thing about it being in Brazil is that the euro goes further away. I'm not trying to bring work or hire people that I know. It's not about that. I would be this as good if it's something in a country where the euro goes further, whether it's Colombia, Serbia, or wherever. It's nothing nationalistic about the proposal. It was just easier for me to speak to somebody that I know and who I thought could make a proposal for us.
And
yes,
as far as I remember, but please correct me if I'm wrong, in the paying for the Oli Perry, there is also part of the communication that he has. So we have to be sure that there is no overlapping. So please check with Oli what are his tasks, because I think that in his part of the paying there is also something as a communication.
Oh yes, Oli was hired first to do the IMAGO communication. It's only later that Ron asked him to
Yes.
work with the sponsorship.
Yes, so
at
he
first,
moved to sponsorship. Yes.
yeah. At first, I had made a budget for this year where I had separated the amount that he already made for communication and the extra amount. But it's not fair, I think. First of all, it wasn't done with Oli, so it's still in a bulk, and we have to see. I think I'm not trying to exclude Oli from this project at all. I'm just saying we need to revamp the communication of IMAGO. I think it's important. I think it will bring more sponsorship. It will bring more viewership. More interaction with members of our societies. I think what I saw at Micro Salon or sometime was on my own society is people see, oh, IMAGO is great, it's a federation and all that, but they don't really participate. They don't really go into the website enough. They don't know enough about IMAGO. So we definitely need to be more present. I think we have to conquer this space that's open to us. We can't be just something on the sideline.
Yes, I completely agree.
They don't even know what a cinematographer is, most of them. That's the reality. It's true.
Yeah.
The average man in the street what a cinematographer is.
Yeah.
In this country,
yeah. We all want everybody to know surely what the job that the cinematographer does, what it entitles, how important it is, because as the ad campaign that the ADFC made in Colombia, without photography, there's no cinema. And this takes me to another subject, which is, I don't know unless somebody wants to say something more about communication. I think we can leave it for next meeting where this person can be present and we can move further ahead. We're already 2 hours and 10 minutes into the meeting. So the proposal for the 30th anniversary, I've been in contact with Luciano Tovoli, as I said, and Daniele Nanuzzi, the president of AIC. I think it's important to be present and to do it at Cinecittà on the anniversary if possible, which is the 13th of December. Ali thinks that if we have a project, he can find a sponsorship for this. Luciano Tovoli actually suggested that we approach Kodak, which was the main and first sponsor for IMAGO. I have a personal friend who's Brazilian, but who has a company in Italy, who's quite important and has a TV cable TV channel. I'm not going to mention her name, and she's very interested, but she was sick this week, so I haven't been able to speak to her. I want to have her authorization before I mention her company and her name. But she could also be a sponsor and help us with this. I'm sure from Luciano Tovoli, and we could have help from the AIC, not financially, but in a different way, because they have financial troubles presently. And I think the ideas that I've spoken with Adriana is that one thing we could have a film which would be a presentation of shorts of different images from each societies. I think we would all benefit for this, and we'd have a cocktail but I think it's important to have a stronger event than just a reunion. And I propose that we have a roundtable with some cinematographers and choose a subject for that. Or even a master class, but I think it's more about a meeting of cinematographers. And I don't know if they would be 3, 4, 5. We have to see what the budget would be, and choose a subject that they would speak about. So this is my proposal, and I think we should move ahead with having this anniversary. And I want to hear what you have to say, your thoughts.
All I would say is that the best organizer of roundtables, without any question of doubt in my mind, is Ellen Lockman. She will do it superbly.
Yes, Roberto?
I tend to agree that I with what one of the things you said, which was, I don't think this is really a thing where we should be doing a master class. I think it's more about a reunion and a roundtables seminar talking about, where cinematography is, where it's been through the years we've gone through with IMAGO and such. And I like the idea also of having as many societies as possible to put up their short show reel, whatever. I know the ASC, we have one that we do at the festival, at our awards every year, and to have a showing of all the different reels of that. I mean, really, it's a celebration of that IMAGO has lasted for 30 years and hopefully will last for at least another 30. But to have discussions and meetings and a very social event. It should be upscale,
uplifting,
positive.
Yeah.
And,
I agree totally. I think it's more about a meeting. I just think about a round table because I think it would bring, maybe motivate more people to be there as not just a cocktail and a celebration. That's why.
Yeah, I think we also have to remember that it's 2.5, 3 weeks after Camerimage. It's pretty close to Camerimage. I'm hoping to be at Camerimage, and I've been organizing with CML, which is also attached with IMAGO, and I'm hoping that there's been cross-pollination between our websites. I'm organizing with CML and the Academy to do a seminar at Camerimage this year, dealing with various issues of ACEs and color SSI and some other technical issues that we hope will bring more attention to what's going on for cinematographers. And but because I'm expecting to be at Camerimage this year, I'm hoping that maybe I will stay around in Europe longer and go to Rome to the IMAGO festival if possible. But yeah, again, I think it's maybe a roundtable is a good idea, but not too many broken down to too much technical stuff. It's more about the philosophy of our organization and where we can take ourselves in the future and the way to, new ways to find directions, and maybe hearing from people who never have said anything to us before with some ideas.
I think it's a good idea.
No, I agree with the idea of a philosophical thing about cinematography and not something getting into technical thing, which I don't think it's the time and place for that. But Vincenzo, as the host, coming from the host to society, I think it's important to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, not very much.
Why can't we take it to Camerimage? There are cinematographers galore there, and they would be willing, as they have been in the past, to have any kind of discussion involving their future.
Camerimage is already quite packed with events, and I think it will be watered down in all that many things that happens there. This is a standalone.
I agree. I agree. It should be where it was founded at Cinecittà. I think it should be a standalone event. And I think without being a standalone event, it'll be harder to get sponsors, which is important. But Vincenzo, I'm sorry, you still have your hand up.
Yes, also as a society. In fact, I'm not in Italy that much. Otherwise, I'd definitely love to get more involved in this. But I think we need, first of all, we need from AIC somebody who's dedicated primarily to this, that has to interface with us, connect with us. And also, Mustafa, you're keeping contacts. I think that's from our side is fine. And if I can support in any ways, because I know the logistics there. Cinecittà as a space, also they have renewed it, has become a bit of an amusement park now. So I think it could be a nice idea also to have a more recreational moment. If it's a day dedicated to IMAGO, then at night we can think about having aperitivo, happy hour, or these things. These things can be done easily, and they also help to involve more people. On the other side, there is our National Film School. That is a reality that still works pretty well. And we should definitely involve the students there. We're talking about 60 from the cinematography classes. Head of studies is Giuseppe Lanci, who's also AIC, of course, and would be very happy to help us in this sense. For what regards Kodak, I had talked to Luciano about this, and it could be interesting, the fact that now in Cinecittà the public took over again after a failed privatization, and they opened or they are about to open the labs. So now in Italy we have Augustus, which is a fully private lab, and Cinecittà, which I think, I don't know, maybe Roberto might know. I don't know if they are already operating or they are about to start. So this could be, if we want to get Kodak on board, the fact that the lab is there could be for sure an advantage. But I think we should offer them a full package and say, listen, this is what we want to do, this and this and that. How can you support us, considering that the historical value of the place, and considering also that I think Luciano mentioned that when IMAGO was founded, it was Kodak. I mean, it was different times, but the whole thing was sponsored by Kodak. So just
Kodak, when I was president, Kodak owed IMAGO money. I still haven't received it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was very, very interesting. Yeah. Anyway, it's been written on.
Yes, there is no Kodak Italy anymore, so everything has to be dealt with London. They have somebody selling film there, but through Panalite, which is the rental. So, but the decision making happens in London with Julie and Sam. This is.
I think if you want events like to succeed, it's fine. But we have to go to where there are cinematographers. And every year there are a few festivals where a lot of cinematographers go. The one which they go to mostly in the world is
Camerimage.
And that's where you get things done. There'd be no cost involved. You gotta give you a room for a day, and you give publicity. You publicize it a week or two in advance before people arrive, and publicize it well when they're there, and you'll get the room full of people. I know, I've done it.
Nigel, what are you referring to?
I personally don't agree, and I don't think AIC would agree with Camerimage for the reason I stated before. And then we also have to understand, I think we have to define the definition of what is success for us. What are we looking after this, and how are we going to plan it? Are we going to think about the idea of the round table, say, as Mustafa said, a more philosophical, not very technical, is a good idea, because I think that's what the party could be about. What the next 30 years of cinematography, whatever we want. We can think about something technical also on the sides. We have everything there. If we're looking for rentals, they will support us. If we're looking for anything technical, that we want a little playground for cameras and this, can happen. I don't even know when our micro salon is happening. I don't know, Mustafa, if you discuss about that with Luciano or with Daniele. But
Daniele hasn't answered my email yet, but Luciano answered the other day, and he sent me last night where he also spoke about the Sicily education project, which I think is also important. I think before we approach Kodak or any other sponsor, I think we can't say that they won't give any money. When I spoke to him about doing this at Cinecittà and celebrating this celebration, he seemed to say that it would be quite easy to get sponsorship. Now we have to see what the budget will be, what the scope of what we plan, and how much money we need. But so he can go after sponsorship. But I agree with you. I think it's two separate events. Camera Image is Camera Image. It's very important. We should be present there, but the celebration is a separate event. I don't think it should be linked to Camera Image or to any other festival. Roberto, you wanted to speak?
Practical terms,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to Camera Image last summer, and unfortunately I've been shooting every time, but in 2018, now if we want to have an evening event, like say a recreational mode, over there it's already everything is booked, because every night there is whatever, Harry, they have their own parties. I mean, I think it wouldn't be very visible. Maybe their program is already set. They work really well and in advance. I think we would be lost in many things that happen there. This is my opinion, and I think also the AIC opinion regarding this.
No, I agree completely. I think we should be. This is an opportunity, besides celebrating and looking forward, as Roberto said, the next 30 years. It's an opportunity to give Imago visibility in itself. But yes, Roberto, please.
Yeah, so I wasn't completely clear on what Nigel was proposing for Camera Image. To me, and I'm agreeing with Vincenzo, and as a member of the AIC, I don't think that we should defer any of our celebration away from Cinecittà and away from what the crux of it is. I think the only thing we should do at Camera Image is announce that we're having the festival celebration at Cinecittà and invite anybody who wants to come, that they should, look at our website, whatever it is, and make it a, official pronouncement. And if we want to have a casual cocktail meeting run by some of the AAC members who want to invite some people out to talk about it more, fine, but nothing official, nothing, special. I think it should just be an announcement that it's going to be happening and let the world that's at Camera Image know in person.
We know for sure that we have the theater. I think Mustafa, Luciano told you, right? The theater we can have. And that is not a matter of course.
Yeah.
So this is something. Then again, I think Roberta's idea is brilliant. We should announce it there, whatever we will be doing in Camera Image. I think the timing is 1 month distance, right? Because the Camera Image this year, I think, is the tips.
3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, we would be very close to Christmas time.
Yes, Bojana?
Okay, I've been listening very carefully and I've been thinking all the way, and I think that a separate event will put more focus on Imago, and we have to focus to collect as many members as we can on one place, and it should be an event for them. It should be a celebration, but event for them to see that Imago is a very strong 30 years. It's a 30 years. Also, Camera Image is celebrating 30 years this year. So it's celebrating Camera Image, and what we should do is communicate the date as much as possible in advance with save the date. Save the date is something that's very important. So maybe for now, I suggest 2 things. One is to fix the date of the celebration, And second is to make a working group and to separate the working group that will work only for this celebration. And I think that you, Vincenzo, and you, Roberto, since you are well connected to the Italian society and you speak Italian, that you must be part of that working group if you are available. I don't know what your plans are.
I thought we already discussed that we were going to have a working group at the last meeting, but nothing has happened.
Yes, we did. Nothing happened.
Sorry.
Now this is the last minute that we must start working. That working group must start working because it's in 5 months. It's very, very, very soon. So let's set the dates now, and December, right?
It's
I
December
thought the date was
13th.
already set.
Yeah,
it's
13th.
it's fixed date.
The anniversary is December 13th. Now, unless there's some impediment with the use of the theater of something at Cinecittà, which we need to confirm ASAP, I think it should stay the December 13th. Obviously, it's close to Christmas.
I believe it was confirmed with Luciano and Cinecittà that was available to us, and they were giving us that day.
Yeah. So,
We know that.
Sorry, sorry, confused. Is there a working group already, or we don't want to have? I didn't.
No, we spoke about having a working group. We didn't put it into place. Obviously, I was shooting 6 days a week, so it was really hard for me to be present. But I'm all in favor of you, Vincenzo, Roberto, and whomever wants to be part of that working group. That
I'm happy to do it.
I'm fluent in Italian, and so and I also working with somebody in. Yes, Ron, you want to be part of it? Okay, and oh, you're muted.
You're muted, Ron.
The 13th is a Monday, correct? It is. I think you'll find over there. Tuesday here.
Yeah. Okay. So, if that date it's the official date, let's keep it unless there's some impediment that came up.
13th is a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Yes. Tuesday. It's not a Monday.
Okay. Argyris, you've been wanting to speak. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'd like to, whatever we do regarding Camerimaus and asking them to give publicity to our Cinecittà event should be communicated, I think, as soon as possible, because I have to admit, and I have written that I was deeply disappointed by the organization of Camerimaus and how they had us, as IMAGO, totally neglected. They sent us to a room away from the screening and the main festival. No publicity, nobody knew what we did was available. And well, I was deeply disappointed by the Camerimaus, and let's try to make certain that this does not happen again. Somehow, I don't know who's speaking with Camerimaus, but
I have to agree with you.
Yeah, I remember.
That's what I've heard about other colleagues.
I remember reading your thoughts on your experience at Camerimaus, Argyris, which was not very uplifting.
But I think it is the main issue was that everything prepared for the Camerimaus 1 month prior to the Camerimaus last year. So this is exactly why I wrote for this board meeting that if we are going to be at Camerimaus, we must start preparing now. And last year it was really 1 month before the Camerimaus.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
too
no,
late.
I don't think anybody is saying that we shouldn't be present. We're just saying that this should be 2 separate events. IMAGO, an event that's just IMAGO, is going to have a lot more repercussion than if we're, just present one evening inside Camerimaus. To me, I don't think that's a good idea, and I think it's not very respectful towards the AIC, and to the whole idea of the founding of IMAGO. So let's keep it separate.
Can I please?
Do you want to vote on? Yes, go ahead.
can you just please ask Hannah to find in the previous minutes who else from the other board members was in kind of this working group for the 30-year celebration? I know it was me. I cannot remember if Phil was there. I know Alexei was there, but he's not here anymore. So Hannah, can you please find, it was Roberta, yeah, I know. Yes, and maybe you can send us an email and send those people an email, and then we all confirm again and start working regarding this. And
okay,
if you
can I make a suggestion for the working group? Is that instead of using emails, because I mean, not that we can't use emails, but that we also form a group on WhatsApp. I don't know if most people use it.
Yes.
No,
not me.
It's so much easier. It's so. I mean, all our working groups at ABC.
Sorry, I won't use WhatsApp. Can't do it.
Can I just jump in? I'm happy to be part of the group. Very happy, but guys, I got to go. It's 3:30 here in the morning, and I'm a bit knackered. So, as we say here in the colonies. So, thank you all for your time, and I'm going to go get some sleep if that's all right. Great to see you all.
Thank you very much, Ron.
Great to see you.
The effort of staying
Ron,
at
sleep well.
such a late hour.
I don't have the name of the hotel yet, Ron.
No, the Epinal's no longer. It's not open, Nigel.
It doesn't exist anymore, maybe.
No, it exists. They're just refurbishing, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alex
anyway,
says he has to leave too.
I actually also have to leave. I'm sorry. So, thank you for today.
I'm going to have to leave.
Bye, Alex.
Too.
See you later. Bye, everyone. Bye, Christina.
Alex.
Bye.
Let me know when you have some time, Alex, because I do need to speak to you about some things we need to be done.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So where does that leave us as far as obviously we can't vote on anything anymore because we don't have a quorum.
Yeah.
Well, in case you think I'm doubting it all, I'm not doubting it all. The reality is that we are living in times of inflation. It's at the moment going to be 11% here. And I think if you're having a celebration, it should be where the maximum number of people are going to be. As long as the Italians can guarantee there'll be students there, I think that'll be the majority of the population around will be the students. And also, I mean, it's in Italy, Luciano, and obviously I know very well, it was the BSC, the AIC, the BVK, and the AFC. But the whole idea came from the inspiration of an American. That's the reality of it. And therefore, it's an international organization conceived in friendship.
Who was the American?
Your greatest cinematographer.
George, you mean Gordon Willis?
It was Gordon, I think it was Gordon. It was L'Aquila. There was a little town, L'Aquila, which was...
At L'Aquila, yeah, I was there. I was there at L'Aquila.
Yes.
But it was mostly Storaro and Tovoli.
Yeah. Go back into the 80s, L'Aquila. It was a different world, right? But I don't see again the point with Camera IMAGO once again, because I think it will be watered down. So
it'll be a sideshow.
By numbers, are we looking, and what kind of participation are we looking for? Are we looking like for quantity? Are we looking for quality? Are we looking for both? We also have to understand what we're going to offer to people participating. I think also we have to think whether we want to have like some kind of streaming for people who cannot, for the round table. This is also an option to consider. And then Nigel, if you said if we can grant the participation of the students, I can grant the participation of the students in Rome. I mean, grant if they want to come. We can afford.
I got nothing against Rome at all. I got nothing against anything you're suggesting. I'm just saying that at Camera IMAGO, we need to be seen to be doing something in celebration of IMAGO, and that will be respected there. And if you go to Camera IMAGO, it's no good saying to them, this is what we want. They won't do it. If you go to Camera IMAGO, it has to be with a positive point of view that you will do the groundwork. You've got to distribute the leaflets. You've got to tell people, and then they'll come.
Distributing leaflets and all that for
doing
sure.
The flyers,
wait, Vincenzo, a second. Hold on, 1 second, Nigel. But that's proposing that we actively promote the December celebration in Rome, not sidestep it and try to have a celebration at Camerimage, because that would water down our celebration. We'd be a sideshow. We'd just be, you know, another artifact. So yes,
but
I
what
agree.
what you're
We
saying
should
makes
wait,
sense completely.
Nigel, wait. We should take it in our hand to promote the Rome celebration and
Absolutely
physically do
fine.
it. Don't ask Camerimage to do it for us. Absolutely.
No.
We will do it there. That'll be part of our working group to figure out how to do that, to get it to Camerimage, to then promote.
I agree.
We're doing flyers for Cinegear. We can also do flyers for our celebration. I mean, I think it's more actually, and if we have to choose between the two, we should choose for our anniversary. You know, I mean, Cinegear is a show, it's a gig. Like,
I think you're misunderstanding what Roberto was saying. He's saying that everything should, but at Camerimage there are hundreds of students and cinematographers. A leaflet in their hand is a leaflet which will tell them that on one certain day there's an event which promotes the founding of IMAGO, and that the big event for it will be in Rome.
No, I totally got
it.
I think Vincenzo,
you don't misunderstand anything. I know what Camerimage is. Camerimage is what it is.
No, Vincenzo, that's not what Nigel's saying either. He's saying that we are just going to promote the Rome celebration at Camerimage. We're not doing a celebration at Camerimage. Yeah. We're going around in circles now.
In my view, it would be more of to our profit if we did some sort of web campaign instead of leaflets, because I don't think people focus on leaflets anymore.
Yeah, we have to see what the cost of leaflets and banners will be, and whatever we produce, I think should be something that can be used at Cinegear, at the Rome, at Camerimage or Menacchi Brothers, wherever. I mean, Menacchi Brothers is around the corner, but whatever we produce should be something that can be used everywhere. And it should mention the celebration of 30 years of IMAGO. I think that's, Vincenzo is absolutely right. That's very important. Yes, Božena?
We can check the cost of printing it in Serbia, for example, for the Menacchi, or somewhere closer out of the European Union is going to be cheaper. So we have to design, and then we can find some closer parts to print it, because I'm sure that in Macedonia or in Serbia it's going to be 2 or 3 times cheaper than in Brussels or in wherever. And yeah, that's what I want to say.
Yeah, I think it should be. We have to write the content, which is the most important thing. Have somebody to have the design, whatever design we use, and then the printing should be done preferably what is going to be used at Menacchi Brothers, as you suggested, should be printed there. What's going to be used at Cinegear should be printed in the US, so we avoid shipping, which these days is very expensive. And whatever other festival, we just have to need the project ready, and then it can be printed anywhere else in the world to avoid the shipping costs and customs and all these things we certainly want to avoid. Yeah, I think that's we can move on to the next issue if you all agree.
Just
John Wink, yeah, go ahead, Vincenzo.
So no, just to recap, we will communicate through emails for this working group, because I wasn't present in the previous meeting you guys had. I was shooting, so I don't know if you already fixed these.
We don't have an email working group. We'll have, I'll ask Hannah to do it, and which doesn't, people who do want to, if we have something to say to one person or the other, we can still use the WhatsApp, but the officially will be emails, and we'll see if we have meetings outside of the board meeting, because sometimes I think it's important to not just to communicate, because we have to wait for an email to arrive, send another email. That will just make things more, slow things down. Yes, Christina.
Yes, I would propose to also to make that someone is the chair of this working group. The chair should pose some schedule, some time limits, because otherwise, well, they are not organized. If there's a chair and says, okay, you have to bring up your ideas until the next week, so it will function. I think it will function better than if you just say, okay, they will send emails. Just to say, okay, who will be the chair? It might be Vincenzo, or it might be Roberto, or it might be Bojana, I don't know, but just say, okay, who will be the chair, and he is also responsible for the schedule.
Well, if people agree, I would like to chair it, because I've been involved already from the start in trying to get it started. You know.
Yes. I think it's necessary someone who speaks Italian, and you, Mustafa, speaks Italian, right?
Yeah, no,
I agree with.
I've been writing long letters to Luciano Tovoli in Italian,
it's been tested.
Yes.
And we still have a quorum, because we have 6 people now, but Roberto is leaving, and we have 2 proxy votes, so it's 8. But okay, now 7. Then we don't have any more. Okay.
Tell me if there's something to vote right now, and I'll stay another 5 minutes, but I can't stay much longer.
Wait, do we have a quorum?
At the moment, we still have, because we have 2 proxy votes.
So can we vote to go ahead with having the event at least for the 30th anniversary in Cinecittà?
At Cinecittà, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, so it's been voted.
Thank you, everybody. I do have to leave.
Vincenzo, give me 1 minute to see if there's anything that needs to be voted on.
Okay.
There's
can we vote?
Oh, there's the pro which was Argyris wanted to present the team thing. I don't know if there's much time for you to do the presentation, but
no,
do you have?
It's not much time. I will be very, very fast. We had to check 3 different platforms. The first one being Basecamp, which is a platform that works independently, and you have to log in through an application. It also communicates via email to everybody. It's practical, but it has its limits. The second is Teams, which is the most powerful of all, and it can be. It has the most capabilities, possibilities. It's linked to Microsoft accounts, and it gives lots of space. But I have to admit, for some people not so acquainted with computers, it might take some time to get into it. Then there is the third platform, the one that is called the Big Blue Button, and it has been offered to us by the BVK. This, although not up to the level of practicality of Teams, it's a very practical platform, and I would like the board to allow me to ask for a quote from the BVK, because I think this is the platform that would be most easy for everybody to use and most practical. Yes, Roberto.
I maybe I missed something, but I don't understand what what the proposal is. What is this for? What are we going to be using these for?
We have been discussing
committees.
We have been discussing
the committees.
No, for everybody. For everybody. The issue that has been brought up and discussed in the past is that we have lots of correspondence and emails which get sometimes lost. It's getting a bit, you know, not. Each one has to coordinate his own mailbox to try and find what has been said, not said, written, etc., etc., etc. And we also need the platform to communicate for our teleconferences, etc. Now, the idea was that we try to put all these things together. And there are platforms that do these things together, like Teams, that does it best, and like Big Blue Button, that does it very well. And the idea is that from a point on, we can shift to a platform, have all our correspondence in the platform. So whenever I want to see what Roberto said 2 months ago, I don't have to scroll through my entire emails, search, etc. Just go to the topic and see it there. And to me, this is the most practical thing to do. I use it. I use Teams in my teaching a lot, and it's extremely practical. But it will take people some time to adopt. So I suggest the Big Blue Button that will take 0 time to people to adjust, and as long as I think the BVK will give us a fair price, I'm asking permission to communicate with them and ask for this price. I mean, for their quote. Yes.
Go ahead, Roberto.
Yeah. So with the ITC, we've tried all the different platforms. Big Blue Button has been excellent. I've used on other productions. I've used Bandcamp, whatever it's called, Campfire. What's the name of that one? Basecamp. Yeah, I've used that, which is also good. The issue we've had with Microsoft Teams is that, especially on the ITC, anybody who's doing it through a corporate account, many of them do not allow them to use anything with Microsoft. So therefore, they can't use Microsoft Teams. We've run into that with sponsors. That may not have any effect on us here. I'm not sure, but I agree with you. The Big Blue Button is a very good, solid platform and easy way to work.
Jerry, maybe you ask them to give us, for example, a month or a few weeks or 2 months of trial, so we see if everyone in the board can fit into the platform. But yes.
They have already given us 2 months of trial.
Okay.
Okay. We have me and Christina did it. Alex was supposed to be part of it, but he was very busy and he could not participate in the end.
Okay.
But we have been given this time, and we tested it. I mean, it's
cool. Then
it works and it's very easy.
Yeah, at ABC, the ABC Curso ABC, which is our education tool, we use Teams. But I confess that Roberto and you, Argyris, who have studied all these things, know more. So I agree that we should get a quote from the BVK, and if we need,
I also use Teams in my company and in my teaching. But I mean, I know that some people will have some technical issues to solve, and this might not be easy. It's been built with the idea that there is an IT involved in everything. Because
I'm fine.
I mean, safe. They take an IT as a must.
Wait, Roberto.
So
can you please vote before you go?
Yes, I'm trying to. I'll give my vote to Vincenzo. Vincenzo has my vote. Okay.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Thank you very much, Roberto.
Okay. Ciao.
But I agree with you.
Next time it'll be easier for me because I'll be in London, I believe. So time zones work better. Okay. Ciao.
Thank you.
Can we take a 3-minute break, please?
Sure.
Okay.
We're supposed to have like 2-hour meetings, and this one has been how long? Almost 3 hours.
Almost.
I don't think we have that many issues, but let's take 5 minutes. Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Make it very, very quickly in any case.
Yes, Christina.
Only one thing. I have to go to a funeral, and I have to leave at 8 o'clock. Okay.
If you
It's
want, I
what
can
time
make
is it?
my thing very quickly.
Because
I have just a quick thing to tell you, but let's make this 3 minutes and then come back, okay?
Okay.
okay.
Okay. Has it been 5 minutes?
I think we're back
6.5,
only with Ginger.
I guess. I don't know. I haven't timed it.
Neither have I.
I can't remember what we're doing.
Could we get to the Danish situation before Christina leaves?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, what has happened in Denmark? They have been negotiating with the platforms like Netflix, like HBO, or like TV2, which is a Danish platform. In order to negotiate, they created a new organization because they call it Create Denmark, because the other organization that is Copidan was not allowed to negotiate. The negotiations are on for 5 years now. About 1 year ago, what is now the problem? The problem is that the platforms have been asking the authors to give up everything as far as royalties are concerned. They had to sign out of everything. And about a year ago, or less than a year ago, but quite a few months, the directors and the actors said, no, forget it, we're not giving up everything. Then, about a couple of months ago, the cinematographers, production designers, etc., also said the same thing. At a point, the platforms decided that they want to press as much as possible, and they stopped all development. So they keep shooting right now, but they're not developing anything for Denmark for the future. This caused lots of anxiety. Today, this afternoon, we received a very big letter, a document. It's 90 pages with lots of information from newspapers, etc., etc., etc. The issue is that the producers are pressing the authors to give up everything because they're afraid they will lose what they have to do. Also, the screenwriters are pressing because it's them who are currently affected. It's the scripts that have stopped being written in writing. The rest of the people are still working, as I said. Now, the good news is that last week, at the moment, it appears that unofficially, Netflix has decided to renegotiate, which is extremely positive if it happens. Why now do we care about that? We care a lot because Denmark has been an example for everybody. Denmark was a place where things were settled. Nobody thought that royalties could be jeopardized in Denmark, but it did. And this is what is causing our fears and our anxiety. Now, whether it is the time to write a letter or not, I am not certain right now. We are constantly discussing with the other federations like Artsenico, like Tempo, and EFSI, who respectively represent costume and production designers, editors, and sound designers. And we're getting information because there are Danish people from there, in there. And what I would like to ask you would be to some sort of be ready in case we need to present a letter that by email we accept it and present it. But this may not be the case, because if in the end the platforms decide to negotiate, it might not be necessary. So that's about it, I think. Christina, do you want to add something?
Yes, also that we have, or you have asked Jan for more information if he's,
Yes.
but it has been no time, or you didn't receive any answer. We
No.
got all this detailed information about the other platform where we are working with the other one, and there are Danish creatives of the audiovisual sector. But perhaps also Jan says that for the moment it's not necessary, but it would be very good to be really that you are aware about this situation. It's Denmark, it's the Danish model of authorship rights. It's a model for all, for example, for Spain, and I think also for a lot of countries. When their author rights are denied, this will have very big consequences for all the other authorship rights recognition in other countries. So just, I can only support the idea or the initiative and the ask of Giris. So just be please aware if there has to be signed a letter that you know what's up, and it will be, and then very urgent.
Mustafa, your microphone.
Thank you. John Winke had written to me also, and obviously I wanted your opinion, Algeris and Christina, regarding what to do, because obviously you know a lot more about it than I do. If any letter is needed, I'm obviously ready to sign it. Okay. Maybe we should have a document ready and then just hold on it, because I agree, if the negotiations start moving because of Netflix, then maybe it would be counterproductive to send a letter.
Yes.
One
good thing, one positive thing, I scrolled this through this document because we received it in something like 5 hours ago, and I had to translate it also from Danish to English. But one interesting thing is that in the press, they accept that the Danish filmmakers get paid less because it's part of the deal that they get royalties.
That's correct.
Yes.
That's correct. And I could just add a few words to this, if I may. I started in Britain about 8 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe now, I can't remember. An organization called Screencraft Rights. Screencraft Rights get residuals from the Swedish, Norwegian, and the Finns, amongst other countries. The Danes keep all their money in their own, at Copydan, give them in their own hands. There's nothing, we are not allowed, even though the other organizations are, we are not allowed to take any money from the Danes. They keep all the money for themselves. So I think we should just think about this a bit, because I think you're quite right. I always said that the best society and the best conditions were Denmark. They're an example for everybody about working conditions particularly. So I'm not running them down at all, but in fact, I'm just saying that I think in their negotiations, which started very early, they introduced the film, all the people working in film as one organization, and then they take the Danish Society DFF take a portion of that which is allocated to them. They are then able to do what they like with that, which is why in some Iagas they had as many as one year they had six delegates because they have the money to go there. It's money which very often is meant for other films made by other countries but shown in Denmark. So that's all the only qualification I'd like to make.
Thank you, Nigel. Was there, do we want to, so do we agree we should have a document ready and do you want to do that, Argyris?
Yes, yes, we'll prepare that. Yes, we'll work on that with, and we'll try to make it as broad as possible, in the sense that we'll try to have it also signed by Arsenico, by Tempo, etc.
So the next thing is we've already spoken about Camera Image.
Sorry, Mustafa.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
As I've written, the ceremony in the tanatory starts at 8:30. I have to leave. I'm sorry.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, Christina.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Christina.
I just want to mention something that Adriana is working on, and she would have explained it, but she had to leave. She's working on something in collaboration with the committees, more specifically the ITC, but not only the ITC, with Ed Lackman, with David Stump and Afonso Para of the ADFC. And she will explain to you more about it. But it's, I think it's a good project, but obviously she's the one who should talk about it, unless you, Bojana, want to say something about that.
I think I'm informed as much. I mean, I'm informed maybe more, but I think that we should give the Adriana the opportunity. She wants to start connecting the committees, and she's starting with the ITC, but I'm not sure I will say more than you know, Mustafa.
Okay. So, well,
I suggested something to Adriana, but it is connected to the podcast subject that I will say a bit more later. So.
Oh, okay. Yes, Argyris.
Yes, but if it's about connecting the committees, why don't we know anything at the authorship committee?
But because it's still in the making. So she didn't want to get in touch with the committees before it went further. But let's leave it for the next meeting. Obviously, this meeting should have happened in June. I wasn't able to because I was shooting. But maybe we could go back to the previous schedule and have another meeting is still in July. I think that would be a good thing. I have to look at the previous dates and see if everybody is available. Before we go into your other your presentation, Bojana, could we give space to Vincenzo to talk about the TDC International Cinematographers Day Terra di Cinema?
May I have one moment, please? May I have, because before we totally switch to the subject, I forgot, because it's on the same subject. Because of the Danish situation, we decided that we should hold a meeting in Spain, among a physical meeting among the 5 federations that collaborate. IMAGO, Arsenico, etc. We don't need money from IMAGO because we can fund it from the rest of our budget. But maybe somebody else from IMAGO, maybe Mustafa or whoever might want to attend, this would need some extra money. But as far as the committee, we can still afford it. We have some money left, so it's without a cost for an extra cost for IMAGO. And it's planned to be something, well, I don't remember what they say, I think November.
Oh, so it would be close to Camera Image?
Yes, at some point.
Okay, well, you know.
Sorry for interrupting, but it was on the same subject and I forgot it.
I understand. Let's see who else would be interested in attending, and you and I also can speak about it further, Argyris, if you want. Okay. Vincenzo, I'm sorry.
Yes, so I'll try to make it super short. I also need to be at a screening in 20 minutes. No, basically, there was an exchange of emails where I don't know if you all read it. I presented the thing. Nigel knows he has been our guest some years ago. Now it has changed the formula. So basically, we even this year we already locked the participants. We have 34 students from all over the world and young filmmakers, and it's like directors and camera persons. For us, the participation of directors is very important, to be honest. So it's a bit reverse. It's about cinematography, but not just cinematographers. And in fact, I believe that who we train at first are the directors more than the cinematographers. The whole point is that they come and they shoot their own short films, and they shoot on film on 35 minutes. So they shoot, it's quite crazy, like 12, they will be shooting 12 short films in 14 days, 15 days. We manage, we don't require to those who apply to the directors, those who apply to directing department, they submit a script in English. English is the working language. It has some limitation of length, location we provide them, they choose and they set their script in the location that we provide, 5 or 6 different locations, while the camera person, they apply on the basis, they submit their online reels and links. I'll drop you the link on the chat to the website. So basically, we give them a limited amount of film, 4 rolls each. So also they learn about not overshoot, which I believe is quite important. And it's fun. And we have actors, we have location, the logistics is quite crazy, but we manage. And we've also been happy to find out that these short films in the end, they circulate. What we provide them at the end, we provide them with like a low res, ProRes for offline editing. And then after they're done with their editing, doesn't happen in the campus. It happens at a later stage. And they edit their thing, and then conforming and whatever, it's up to them with the lab. The interesting thing is we give the rights to the director, all the not only the intellectual rights, of course, but also the commercial rights. But we have included a clause by which says that they have to share these rights with the cinematographers. I mean, it's a small thing, you know. I don't think they make millions out of these short films, but they've been distributed in 2020. One of the short films was awarded in Venice. So some of them, most of them find their dimension. And for us, the training part is the most important thing, to learn, to give them an opportunity to shoot and film. And for us, it's also fun to see how they approach to the medium. At the beginning, they're scared, but then they got fascinated and they fall in love. So this we're doing as AIC together. BVK, the Germans have become partners since 2019, I believe. So our friend Johannes Kichleckner comes every year to follow the whole, is very much part of the organization. And we're part of the curricula of the National Film School, our National Film School. And of course, we do it through the support of the technical partners, Kodak, Arri, DOP Choice, Panalite, very much. Cook Optics has been with us forever, and Augustus Lab in Rome. So what I wanted, I had 3 ideas to submit to IMAGO, to the board, because when Nigel came, it was a bit of a different formula, but in any case, and we had the time to discuss IMAGO. We made a very nice interview. I think, Nigel, if I remember well, it was Luciano interviewing you or something.
Well, Luciano and myself, that's right. We gave a presentation, Luciano and myself.
Yes, you gave a presentation. Now my idea was three pointers, basically. The first, of course, I'd like an official partnership saying that it's AIC, BVK, and IMAGO present at this campus. So in fact, would be the use of the logo. The second idea that I had was whether we can communicate, because we haven't finalized also our schedule of activities, whether we could communicate with our, to see who has been shooting on film, members of our society, BSC, many shoots on film. But I've seen some nice films of also Danish cinematographers and short film. If we can communicate as IMAGO to the and see who would like to come and spend a few days with us, cinematographer from, we can support travel expenses as long as it's Europe, to be fair and to be honest, because our budget doesn't allow us to intercontinental travel, business class. That's, we can't do it. So and be our guest for a couple of days and spend time with the students. Then also in the email exchanges, we were talking about a scholarship, but that would be for the next year if we want to do an IMAGO scholarship to give the possibility to students who cannot afford it to apply. Now we keep the participation fee very low, and we always get a fully booked. But for me, it's not essential, to be honest and to be fair, a financial support. This would be something on the side. The two things that, especially starting from this edition, I would be interested, would be, in fact, the IMAGO logo, and the second thing, whether we can have somebody that comes there, we select it together, or we write to the, I don't have an idea about this selection process. Somebody who's been shooting on film lately, and it could be a joint, it could be under, IMAGO and Cinema TDC, our guest, I don't know, John Smith at Cinema, and he spends a few days with us having a presentation with the students about his recent, or her recent film shot on film, and discuss that. So this is basically what I mean. But I'll send you the website so you can see better. More
I'm a bit confused. What can we do for you?
Sorry?
Mentoring, master classes. What do you need?
A presentation of their film, and of course that would be an interview, like ranging from more technical issues to less technical issues, the relationship. We also very focus a lot on the relationship between director and cinematographer on set and in preparation. And then depending on how long the colleague can stay, could also be with us visiting the set when the students are shooting. But when the students shoot, we don't tutor them in the sense we let them do. We are only there, say, visiting the set. But they shoot, basically they have 12 hours to shoot their short film. We give them a 12-hour shift. In that 12 hours, we give them the logistics. We give them a camera technician that is there with them just to check that everything is okay or if there are no issues. But I have to say that we've been quite successful in teaching them in 2-3 days how to handle a film camera. Then we make a division in between DOP and camera operator. So it's basically two different jobs separated. The camera operator get a more technical training, while DOPs are more in the lighting and the preparation of the shoot of the short film. And then they keep rotating. So basically, it's quite intense. They shoot in 6 days, 12 short films, 2 short films per day, and they are required to work also in the other short films. So say if you are DOP on day 1, then you'll be gaffer on day 2, and then you'll be light technician on day 3, and day 4 and 5 and 6. Each of them at least does twice. Once as DOP, once as gaffer, or camera operator and focus puller, or director and assistant director. I hope I haven't been too confusing in my description, but more or less this is what it is about. I can't hear you, Mustafa.
I'm sorry about that. Do we still have a quorum with the votes that have been passed on?
No.
I have.
I have 2.
But should I vote for my own thing? I don't know.
I won't. I mean,
I don't see any problem. Yes, Nigel.
No, I think it's an excellent idea, and it's a very enjoyable one to experience in. I think the only thing I can really suggest for IMAGO is to give it publicity and ask for a volunteer for a society to come and help them, because that's what they need. And need that if no, we've had very good people there. Vincenzo has had very good people there, and it's been a joy to see that it's still going. But I think it can be done, as he's saying, without any expense, and really with the goodwill of another society. It had the the Romanians, I think, have. The French certainly have always helped, and so I think that's the best way we can help.
Thank you, Nigel. Yeah, yes. Thank you. No, I appreciate your words.
Can we vote?
So I vote.
Vote yes. Vote with myself.
Yeah. So
ideally, we would love to ask a colleague from a society, officially sent by society, that has shot on film recently and wants to talk about his film and meet the students and spend a few days with us and use the logo, and then the rest we'll see. We can build it for the future editions to have something more structured. This is happening
to know
now.
the dates. I don't know the dates. Do you know the dates?
Yes.
You've forgotten.
It's from September 10th to 24th.
September 10th?
Yes.
It's not 14 days normally.
It's 14 days, yes.
Is it?
From September 10th to 24th.
How is it? Okay. Wow.
Who's going to look for that person? How should we announce it, us as IMAGO, to look for such a person?
I personally think I will go, now I'm also on the board of the BSC, I will go to the BSC and put it to the BSC. And for 10 days, there may be somebody, it'll be somebody who's probably been working too much, wants a break. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. It's a very enjoyable atmosphere. The scenery is out of this world. And I would recommend somebody going there. But that's
great.
I suggest we give that to every society. Tell the society.
I can write a few lines, and if you guys want to send them to the societies or in person, as Nigel is kindly offering, we don't need a long presence. I mean, we had Nigel came. We had many guests through the years. Ed Lackman was in 2017. There was a time we were focusing more on young cinematographers. We had Krum Rodriguez from Bulgaria. Right. From Greece, we had Argyris Olympia.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Do you remember, is Boyana still with us? Yes, she is. Do you remember that excellent lady cinematographer called Olympia?
Olympia, yes.
Yes, please let Boyana know her name, because she would be fantastic for the.
I know. I have her contact already.
Oh, you know.
I have Olympia. I have a contact already. Yes, I have contact of Olympia.
Yeah, because that was the year they were in Venice that year with Miss Violence at one Venice, a Greek film. So yes. Basically, that's what I would suggest. I can write a few lines present. We don't need to have 10 days. We need 3-4 days, basically.
Yeah.
Vincenzo, the fact that the film is important. The fact that they have shot on film recently.
Vincenzo, if you want, I can send a letter in the name of the board asking the societies for that person. You give me details you want to be included in the letter, and I will send it. Nigel already has taken the initiative for the BSC, but for other societies, and
it would be fantastic. I can write you both the details, and I can write to you the details, because I realize also that presentation like this by voice, we're all tired. But yes, I'll give you the specs, and that would be amazing if you can send it. That would help.
I haven't had the opportunity and fortune of going there, but I'm sure it's an excellent project, and you have my vote.
But I have to specify one thing. Unfortunately, we can't do overseas. We can only do Europe.
Oh, no. I wasn't thinking.
No, not for you. No. I'm thinking when we write to the societies, because to be honest, our budget is a bit also limited, and we can't provide travel expenses for the Americas or.
No. That's not. I think what I can write in that for any other societies that are interested, they would have to cover the who are overseas. They would have to cover the cost of the travel, maybe. You know. I mean, that's one idea.
Accommodation, it's on us 100%,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. If it's not a society from a Europe where it's cheap travel, then the society would have to cover the cost of the travel. Yeah, I think that can be in the letter, and that's fine. So it's open to more people and not just a European centered thing. But obviously, it makes more sense for somebody from Europe. No, so let's go on. You know, so we don't stay on too long. Bojana, now you had other things you wanted to present to us.
Well, what I need is a green light from the board to start working on the podcast project. The podcast project is something that Ellen started during her presidency, but she, as she quitted, she didn't work on that. And Tim Dickens, Roger Dickens and James Dickens approached to her. They wanted to make she wanted to make a podcast with them, to start with them. One of the reasons is their book Byways, but since they have a very famous and very good podcast in the cinematography world, she wanted to start the podcast with them. And she was willing while she was developing it, she was willing to ask one of her former students that now lives in India to be in charge of the podcast, so to be technically and everything to organize. But she didn't go deeper into the subject because she needed the green light from us. And I told her that I can take care of that subject after I present it to you. One of the things that I needed to be sure is that if we start with the first podcast, that we must have in advance at least ideas and in advance at least 5 or 6 more episodes, not to start with the first one accidentally and then to be silent for many months until we finish more podcasts. So if you think that we can start developing that, I would ask to start with the first, to see what would be the first episode, and then maybe next 5 or 6 episodes. We already talked to include committees with their podcast presenting and to make a list of the people and the subjects. So technically, it's not too complicated. It's probably works through Zoom, and but we have to figure out who will be in charge of that, who will be the technical person that will do a podcast. And we thought, should we go through Instagram channel, and of course, to go on the web page of the IMAGO. But first, I need your I need your thoughts. And I must tell, my computer will be probably dead soon. I need some time to plug in, but okay, until I leave, I'm here.
The only thing I want to say is that the whole thing of revamping the communication at IMAGO, I think it has to include everything. So I think it would be more efficient rather than hire somebody for this, to have a communications group, obviously. But I think, you and I and the other people of the communication group should at least meet as soon as possible with Ale Braga. So, we include this because I don't think we should have just one person for the podcast and then another person for this. We don't have, or at least for this year, the amount of money we have in for communication, and I can see what can be reallocated, but not much because we can't go very far from the original budget. And I have to see what can be done with the app development. But like I said, the budget is voted by the YAGA and the YEGA, and we are limited by that. So I think all the money that we have for communication should be in one pot, and we should have a concerted effort and work rather than splitting it up in different things. But I do think that your podcast project is excellent. Ellen's podcast project is excellent.
Yes, obviously I don't have the details now, because for going into details, I need a green light, and I need to know that the board is interested in the project, and then we have to go into details and to see what it takes, and what would be the cost there, if there are going to be a cost, and who can lead it, because that podcast has to be led. Someone has to talk. Someone has to talk with people, and Ellen is willing to do that at the beginning, but we need to know more in advance. So I need the general green light from the board, and then we can go into details. Okay, Vincenzo.
Well, shouldn't we have the meeting and then have, like, we're going to have to vote on the SAGO, the office. Can we put that as now, after we have this talk with the communication, have this vote afterwards? You know, try to have this week.
I would like to connect Ellen in that communication regarding podcast as well. So maybe we can make some kind of a meeting, you, me, Ellen, and whoever is interested in, to see where we at, and after that, yeah, we can speak to the communication guy, of course. But Vincenzo wanted to tell something.
We can have a meeting with Ellen on the podcast itself. I think the communication is something for people of the board. You know, let's not mix the two things, although they're connected. Yes, Vincenzo?
No, I totally second your opinion. It has to be part of the same strategy. But at the same time, I see there is a lot of potential there. Bojana is a great idea. Also, because I wanted to point out to your attention that there is a lot of content on YouTube that comes under the name cinematography, and that is really a ripoff, if you let me do so, because YouTube is also kind of a business, and there are these people who really don't have qualification to talk about. I mean, we are in democracy, everybody can talk about anything. But, you know, they have hundreds of thousands of followers, and also, or thousands, and not necessarily conveying always the right information. So I think there would be a great potential there. And also we have to think about a YouTube channel. There could be also podcast goes on Spotify. If you see Spotify, there are 3 or 4 cinematography podcasts there, and not even that great there. So I think, yeah, I totally support this idea, but yeah, it should be part of that communication strategy all in all.
Yeah, and I think obviously the podcast is definitely should be one of the main tools. I think the proposal of Ale Braga, after having studied IMAGO, makes sense that we should have maybe put our effort in a few things rather than many, so we can do more, you know, and I think at this stage he's convinced me that, but obviously it was not my idea, but was my proposal as in the election, my election proposal of the app. But I think for now it should be put on the back burner and see what we can do with that.
My limited experience, I see it with TDC. We have an Instagram, we have like 6,000 followers, and but it's also the quality of the followers that you have, not just the numbers, because those are all filmmakers, students, schools, and the most important thing I've noticed, I have a team, but it's in India, so it's Indian rates, which makes it affordable for us. But the most important thing is the consistency in the communication. If you keep consistent, that's the most important thing. So I think we can have different things as long as we manage to be consistent. Otherwise, as you're saying, it becomes overextension.
Yeah, no, Ale Braga said the same thing as Bojana. He said, it's great that the idea of the podcast is great, but you have to have a plan to keep it going. If not, it's just going to be a one-time event, and it will be harder to motivate people to come back to it. I think we've lost Bojana because her battery went dead.
we are like running. We need a brick battery.
Yes. What are they called? The blue shape.
The blue shape, no, the brick, the old brick. Remember the?
Yeah, Rosanna is saying her computer died. What else does she say? Yeah, better. Is there anything else that we needed to speak about? Because I think we came to the consensus with Rosanna that we'll have this meeting, the communications group will have this meeting. We'll obviously get the group going with Hannah. I'll see who's in the celebration. Well, we already know who, but send the emails so we can connect in the celebration. Then also for this podcasting and the communication. And I think leave the rest for the next meeting, and whatever has to be voted in the meantime will be done by email.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think the meeting is over. We've gone past, but at least it's not.
Not as long as it has been.
It's our destiny. Our destiny.
But it's been better than some of the meetings that have lasted 5 hours or almost 6 hours in the past. So let's try to keep it that way in the future.
Great.
I'll try to be better prepared, because although I prepared, I couldn't find my presentation. I apologize for that. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Argyris. Thank you, Vincenzo. And
thank you very much.
See you at the next meeting.
Bye, Nigel. It's been a pleasure.
Bye,
seeing
everybody.
You.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Give my love to Luciano.
Bye.
Really. Okay.